What do you want?
Yeah.
Why are you here? Hey, everybody. Welcome to Community Media's Local Government Day. My name is Dr. David W. Bolton. A little bit about myself. I hold a Bachelor of Science in Business Management. I hold an MBA, and I received a doctorate in Public Policy from Liberty University. So, go Flames. And today I have the honor of introducing some of our local candidates for public office in the primary on May 20th. Now, a little bit about community media. Some of you may be chiming in for the first time, tuning in with us, and thank you for that. We are your TV station. Now, what I mean by that is we are what's called a PEG channel. That means public, education, and government. Those are the only three things you will see on this channel. We cover things from government meetings to high school sports. We have a race night that covers our auto racing in the area, sports talk about the other sports in the area, nonprofits, community organizations, all from the Adams-Hanover area exclusively. As Ray Gowker once said, we are not ABC, and thank God for that, because the major networks would never cover the local events that community media covers. So we are honored to bring to you today our local candidates, and the very first one I have here for you is a candidate for Commonwealth Court Judge, and that is our own representative, Torren Ecker. Torren, welcome.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Bowen. And I want to thank Community Media. They've been a great partner over the years in doing things for not just some of our events, but really events around the community. So thanks for doing this. I think it's a great way to kick it off. And as we build this out and get more opportunity to learn from our candidates, it's a great opportunity. So thanks.
Well, thank you. And thank you. I know you have a very busy schedule with your campaign. I see you post a lot of different events. So thank you for taking the time today to be here with us. And of course, this is open to the public, folks. So you are welcome to come here to the New Oxford Municipal Building in the gymnasium to meet these candidates today. So don't just sit there, stop out. Torren, I know a lot of people know you in the area, but for those chiming in each year, twice a year, in May and November, and vote for your local candidates. With that, I'd like to invite over our next interviewer, and that is Mr. Paul Royer. He is running for Adams County Court of Common Pleas Judge. Royer, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, some of the viewers may know you, some of them may not. So, let's say I absolutely don't know who Paul Royer is.
Okay.
Tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer my entire adult life, and quite frankly, I'm not sure I know how to do anything else. My kids are here. My wife is here, and we live just in north of Gettysburg in Cumberland Township. My folks had a place in Cashtown when I was young, and I grew up in northern Illinois to an extent. And when my folks moved back east to be closer to their parents, they promptly sent me to Mercersburg. So I finished my high school years there, and graduated from Dickinson in 2003. And it was back down to propose to my wife, and I worked in D.C. for about 7 years in Maryland, and then it was off to the Twin Tiers of Pennsylvania and New York. And oil and gas was the next kind of phase of my career, which was an incredibly rewarding time in my life. And I always look back at it with fond memories. It's a beautiful part of the country if you've never been. And so eventually I kind of did the same thing that my parents did and moved back east to be closer to my folks. My mom's up in Newville. My dad's at Spirit Trust here in town. So we're close with them and do what we can for them. And I've been at it ever since. John Mooney kind of gave me a leg up when I moved back to the area. And then I worked for Kristen Rice for a couple of years at the Public Defender's Office and really kind of got, in my mind, an intimate knowledge of the court system in Adams County and the grind that is the practice of law. And experience is kind of the central theme of our campaign. We feel like we've got something to offer in that regard, in that it is a grind. The role of judge is a demanding position, and being Easter Sunday or Easter weekend, I don't think I'm totally off base when I say that there's a secular monkhood to it almost, and it's this idea that it calls for service. And if you were going to ask me why I'm running for judge, I would say that I've really been meditating on this idea recently. I just turned 50, and we only have so much time. We only have so much time to do the work. We only have so much time to raise our children, and we only have so much time to try to do something good. And we try to do something good. And I have this really strong suspicion this is my chance to do something good, and serve my citizens and my neighbors and my friends and everyone who lives in this county in one fashion or another. Yeah.
So, in your experience as an attorney, of course, you've had some various different exposures.
Yeah.
How do you feel that experience will lend to a position at the county courthouse?
So, yeah, here's the thing is that, when a judge has a job it's a very hyper-technical position in the sense that we're running a docket. We've got all these cases and all these attorneys who are coming into our courtroom every day. So there's a process to it that is incredibly demanding. And it's a grind because, you've got this massive docket, but at the same time, every individual deserves their day in court. And this day in court is something that's kind of ingrained in our American DNA. It's this idea that there's a room out there where people can go and get a fair shake. And someone's going to listen. And they don't care who you're married to. They don't care what you look like. They don't care who you're sleeping with. They don't care how much money you got. They don't care who you know. They are interested in the truth and applying the law as it's written. And it's very important. It's ingrained in our Anglo-American legal tradition, and it's something that kind of governs our conduct working back from that. This idea that we know there's this objective, honest, truthful place out there. As citizens, it governs how we act and interact with each other. Knowing that there's this kind of backstop, kind of like that backboard over there. A lot of shots hit that backboard, and it's the same thing with a judge. Is you got to be consistent, and you got to be fair. I hope I can do it with a certain amount of grace and a certain amount of patience. At the same time, justice isn't always kind, I suppose. There's this idea that we have to try to do the right thing. It's something that we have to work at. I'm not sure it's always immediately apparent. It's something we have to strive for. So I hope that answers your question. I was kind of long-winded. But.
So, in the position, let's say you win the position, and you go into the courthouse. Of course, Mr. Ecker explained that there's 4 different judges in the courthouse, and that they rotate some duties. What do you think your experience would lend best to in your assignments at the courthouse?
So, that's a great question, and it's this idea that, so the scuttlebutt is that it'll be a family law position, and which may be true, but I'm not one for reading tea leaves in the sense that whoever takes the bench has to be ready for anything, and that judges have conflicts, judges get sick. So, yeah, it might be a primarily family law position, but it might also be PFAs, it might be contempt court, it might be dependency court, it might be juvenile court, it might be having to sit in and judge a felony trial, right? So we have to be ready with the rules of evidence. We have to be ready with a sane knowledge of the law, a working knowledge of the law, and the rules of evidence, because if we get it wrong, things get messy quick, real quick. And we're not talking about, we're talking about the process, we're talking about the law, but we're also talking about people's lives. And when judges screw up, and they do screw up, that's what the Superior Court's there for. That's what the Supreme Court's there for, is we have an appellate process. We have this beautiful tension in our judicial system, in our structure of government, and the separation of powers, and it works that way for a reason. But we can't forget this idea that if a judge messes up or an attorney messes up, an appeal is filed, it gums up the works, and it puts people's lives on hold to an extent while these cases work their way through the appellate process. So, obviously the trial court is the finder of fact. We are the front line in a lot of ways, and it's not to take anything away from the MDJs because they do a fantastic job, and we've got great magisterial judges in this county. But we've got to get it right. Is the central point to take away from that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Any final words maybe for our viewers?
Oh my gosh, we're done already.
Any call to action? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought we could do this all day.
We could, and I'd love to.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have you back for an open house in the future.
Yeah. Closing words. Happy Easter, everyone. I suppose is a good place to start and end it. We are running for judge. We cross-filed. We're on both party ballots, and in my mind, that's incredibly important because we feel that politics has no place in the courtroom. Politics is a different animal. It's not something I'm used to. I spend my time in the courtroom, and that's where I belong. I humbly submit that's where I belong. And we hope to do a good job if and when. Primaries on May 20th. We're on the internet. We got all this stuff.
And your website?
RoyForJudge.com. RoyForJudge.com. And we got some time left. We got 4 weeks to the primary, the all-important primary. If people are interested, if you want to meet and talk, I'm happy to do that because it's incredibly important that people make an informed decision. And informed decision, you can go to the UJS portal. You can search my name, you can search Representative Ecker's name, and you can get a good idea in terms of what's real, in terms of experience, because it's not something you can fake, and it's not something that should be faked with this kind of position.
Very good.
Yeah.
Paul Royer for judge.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Doc.
sir. Thank you for being here with us.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
And good luck to you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right, folks, Paul Royer for Commonwealth Court Judge. Glad to have him here. That concludes our interviews with our judge candidates. And again, I want to give you a call to action. If you like what you see here today, we're going to ask you to go to our website, communitymedia.net, and become a sponsor and possibly a member of our station through sponsorships. We also have a banner program that we're going to talk to you about a little bit later. But right now, we're going to bring out the chair of the Adams County Republican Committee, and that is Miss Charlotte Shaffer. Charlotte, welcome to the community media.
Thank you.
How
Nice
are
seeing
you?
Lovely jacket.
Thank you. We've got to represent.
Yes, you do.
Liberty.
And as do I.
Yes, ma'am. So Charlotte, I've known you for a long time. It seems funny me asking you such simple questions, but for the folks that are at home that may not know who you are, just a little bit about who you are and what you do for the committee.
Charlotte Shaffer, Conewaga Township resident, and I started getting involved in the county party, the Republican Party, I believe it was like around 2009. And in 2021, Jake and I were elected overwhelmingly as the county chair, he as the vice chair. We try to get involved in a lot of community events like this one, and I appreciate this being put on and facilitating. This is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
And I do hope that it grows much bigger in the future to where maybe you'll grow out of this space.
Oh, well. There were
High ambitions.
320 candidates for local office this year in Adams
Yes,
County.
there was. There
yes,
was.
We could have a week-long marathon.
You could. You'd walk out of it without a voice.
Right.
Yeah.
So as far as the Republican Committee, give us a little history, a little bit of background. I know the Eisenhowers were involved years ago in the county committee, and many people may not know that.
I do not know the history of the Eisenhowers, so maybe you can educate me.
I was just to understand that Mamie was a big supporter of the committee, and the president wasn't around too much, but when he was right there beside her.
before my time.
Yes.
But I did do a little bit of research on the history of the ACRs, or as far as the Republican Party of Adams County. They were one of the 65 counties that went to Pittsburgh in 1854 to form the Republican Party of Pennsylvania. So it's been around for,
Pre-Civil War.
yes, since 1854. Very, I don't think that there was a solid group of, 50 or 100, but the Republican Party was represented going back to 1854 for Adams County. So it's been there for quite some years.
So we know that Adams County is primarily a red county.
It is.
I believe it's a good proportion more Republicans than Democrats in the county. Was it always that way?
I believe it was. I believe it was going back to when the party was formed. Currently, and I brought the stats with me, currently the Republicans are just over 43,000. And the Democrats are friends on the other side of the aisle. They are just over or just under 19,000. And just this year alone, our side of the aisle, we gained 162 new voters, and our friends on the other side, they gained roughly 59. That's also after the purge of inactive voters, which there was actually quite a few thousand just in Adams County alone. And overall for the county, there's over 74,000 registered voters, but the Republican Party picks up over 43,000 of them. So yes, it is predominantly red. It's not deep red, which is our goal, is to turn it deep red.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that it was highly publicized last year with the Trump campaign, how they did a lot of grassroots activities. I know you yourself in Kanawha Township, as a member of the committee, had recruited a lot of people for the many seats
Yes.
that are represented on there. Can you talk a little bit about that, about how important that participation is to your committee?
From the precinct level, that is how the party was formed by our founders, is from the precinct level. It is from the bottom up. And our perspective that we have taken since Jake and I were elected in 2021 is that this is the people's party. It always has been. It is from the bottom up, not the top down. And that's what we want to give back to the voters, and that is how we are able to get more involvement, because we're giving it back to them. It is their party. We are just the vehicle to make sure that happens. But, ultimately they steer the vessel. We're just the vehicle for them to, regain, I guess you could say, is we're reclaiming the party.
Okay.
And last year, obviously that was a mandate. With the Trump win, that was a trifecta victory for all of us. And that's our goal. We're just going to keep moving forward with that.
Excellent. So as far as any events or anything, any meetings maybe you want to let people know about, that if they are interested in joining your organization, how can they reach out to you possibly?
www.adamsgop.org. The second Thursday of every month, we started this back in, I believe it was 2021. It's called the Adams First Conservative Forum. That is for the voters to come in, sit down, discuss the issues, war game out, the next election, or tackle issues, whether they be at a school board level, municipal level. It could be with the borough. It could be a global issue. It could be with ACTI, which is a hot topic right now.
For ACTI's Adams County Tech
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is a platform that we made available. When we have our board of directors meeting, that is not open to the public. We wanted something that was open to the public on a regular basis. And again, that's the second Thursday of every month. And we also have that static on our calendar for other events. Like last week, which would have been our Adams First, we had a town hall. We had the candidates, the judicial candidates come, and the candidates for sheriff. And we had a good turnout. We actually, yeah, we had a really good turnout. We do have coming up our Eisenhower dinner. That's in October, and on May 3rd we have our legislative breakfast, and that is also open. You just have to register. You can go to our website. It's on our website, and if you're here, I have reservation forms that I brought with me.
Okay, so today until about 5 o'clock, you can stop out if you're interested. See Charlotte Shaffer, and she can get you signed up for their
Legislative
for their
breakfast.
legislative breakfast.
Yes, the guest speaker, the keynote speaker that we have is the former governor of Maryland, Ehrlich.
Oh.
We have Senator Mastriano, Congressman Joyce, and House Rep Torren Ecker will be there, along with some municipal candidates, some school board candidates will more than likely be there. And they are confirmed attending our event.
Okay, good, very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Charlotte, I know we're going to talk to you a little bit later about your
Yes.
candidacy in Conewaga.
Yes.
But I'll let you get back to it now. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.
And good luck
Thank
to your
you.
organization.
Yes, and if anybody, support community media, donate, send up, this is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Ma'am. Thank you again.
Thank you.
The Charlotte Shaffer folks for the Adams County Republican Committee. Glad to have them here today. So we talked a little bit about community media and how we are basically sponsored by local governments. So there is Comcast provides a franchise fee. What that is a percentage of the fees that they collect in each municipality. A percentage of that can be demanded by the municipality and given to community media to produce events just like this, or to cover your high school sporting events, or maybe your local government events, and bring you quality programming, as well as sponsoring your nonprofits and other community organizations. So please, talk to your local government, talk to your council members and your supervisors, and have them support community media through your franchise fees. Next interview we have, we're going to have our two candidates for Adams County Sheriff, and the first one we have is Mr. Josh Fitting. Josh, welcome to Community
Hey, Scotty,
Media.
good to see you again.
Thanks,
How are
sir. So you just doubted me? Yes, Dr. Bolton is
Dr.
Scotty.
Bolton. Sorry, Scotty. Sorry, Dr. Bolton.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm sure everybody watching knows both. So, Josh, let's talk a little bit about the position you're running for. First, tell me who you are and what you do currently.
Sure. So I'm a full-time Adams County Constable right now. I've been doing that for 8 years. I've been elected out of Tyrone Township, so I understand the importance of elected law enforcement. I'm also an E8 in the military, so I'm a master sergeant in the military. I've been in there for 18 years, a lot of leadership positions. Continuously, every year, I have to be evaluated on my leadership skills. And in 18 years, I made it to E8, so that's pretty important. I'm also our township EMA, so I handled the emergency management assistant for Tyrone Township. And on the military side, I just was doing emergency management for a very long time, about 5 years now. I worked through the COVID dilemma, Operation Allies Welcome, and things like that. So lots of experiences working with inner partners, anywhere from the state to local U.S. Air Marshals, federal agencies, and so forth like that. So.
Excellent. So what got you interested in running for sheriff?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jim's done a great job. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but we need change. We need a younger leadership in there that has a little bit better, broader view of what Adams County really is today and where we're focused on going. And I don't think it's the age where we need all of all of this crazy technology, but we need to focus on some things that are going to better Adams County. And we need someone who's out in the public and can relate on a community level and be part of the community. And that's what it's about. It's not about me. It's not about any competitors. It's about you and everybody that's watching right now. And that's what's important.
So, in your experience with constable,
Sure.
what do you see are the transferable skills
All of it.
from being a constable to now being in charge of a full department at the county?
Absolutely. So I'm also a small business owner as well. I work with law enforcement all over the country and primarily all over the state as well. And I deal with 150 constables, primarily about 60. And I started a business several years ago with my wife. And, our gross revenue last year was over $2 million. So I think I have an understanding of where the money needs to be physically spent. And I'm not suggesting that we're doing anything wrong currently, but I can't say that we're not. I want to be able to look at that and know where that money's being spent for you. And as we talk about what transfers over, we mirror each other very well. So I do my own prisoner transports. I schedule my own evictions. I do my own warrants. I do my own civils. So, I hear this, oh, well, you're not sure, you don't have the experience or so forth. It's not true. It's not accurate. I just want to put that out there now. A lot of what I do transfers over to exactly what's being done right now, maybe a little bit broader scale, but I can look at this and say, some people say, oh, well, he's young. You're right, but I've worked really hard in the last 20 years to make sure that I'm in positions that I can help make improvement. We need to stop operating on 20 years ago and start focusing on what the next 20 years looks like.
Okay. So there's a sheriff's office in every county.
Absolutely.
67?
Yeah, roughly 67. 67
sheriff's
counties.
offices.
Yep.
Which ones do you look to for inspiration?
Absolutely.
Which ones do you see as role models for what you're looking for in Adams County?
Take Adams County and hit the surrounding counties. Cumberland, York, and Franklin. Fantastic. Ben Seitz is doing fantastic things. I look at the York County Sheriff's Department well ahead of where currently we are, which is not bad. It's really focused on what the commissioners are doing, what the people want, and we just need to kind of start to mirror some of those things and be support and just try to help the community as a whole while focusing on our primary functions.
So primary functions. What do you see as, day one, Josh Fitting becomes sheriff?
Sure.
What do you hope to implement right away?
Yeah, day one of the things we really need to look at is working at a full composite level. Right now I think the last I talked with some folks at the sheriff's office, we're 3 or 4 understaffed. We need to start looking at that. Why are we not able to obtain good qualified candidates like any department, right? Is it the pay? Is it morale? Is it lack of advancements? What is that? We need to focus on that. There's a lot of wealth inside of that sheriff's department, and I look forward to really working with them. A lot of creative ideas in there. I want to be the voice for them and be the voice for the people and say, okay, what are we doing right, Dr. Bolton, and then what are we doing wrong? And then let's focus on what we're doing right, complement what we're doing right, build upon that, but look at what we're doing wrong and see what we can modify and make adjustments to better fit Adams County.
Very good. So if everybody's looking for you today, they
Absolutely.
Want to support you, where do they go and how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a website. If you go on Facebook, you can look up Josh Fitting for Sheriff of Adams County. It'll come right up. Also, if you do a Google search, Josh Fitting for Sheriff, our website will come up. One last thing, Scotty, I know we talked about quick endorsements. We have a total of 5 already. We just got a new one released. It was actually by Phil Wagner of Biglerville, the mayor of Biglerville. He's a retired colonel. That'll be coming out in the Gettysburg Times as well. But, we're chugging on for the people, and, I feel that's where we need to be, and I'm excited to be here.
And did you want to real quick present your...
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a letter to the editor. Just to follow up, we had a police chief of Bendersville support us. We had the previous past president of the National Constables Association and Marshals Association, Nina Tipler, the mayor of York Springs. We actually have the Teamsters endorsement, and then locally Adams County Constable Association. But our newest one was from Phil Wagner, the Biglerville mayor, and he just goes on to say, I wholeheartedly support Josh Fitting for Adams County Sheriff. I've been a mayor in Biglerville for the past 6 years and have come to know Josh well. He has the skills, training, knowledge, and experience to hit the ground running from day one. Josh is a leader, and all that he does, I look for elected officials that do more for their community than just the job. Josh is an Army soldier. He cares in all that he does. As a PA constable, he serves all forms of process courts. He provides support for and I'm also a deputy of NAREMA, which we talked about, which is the emergency management. Goes on to say that I assist with the drug take-back program, and I'm a master sergeant in the military. And goes on to fully say that he fully endorses me in my endeavors. And I look for guys like that and gals that we have in here for support. I don't claim to know everything, but I surround myself with experts. And one of the catchphrases that I've used is, when you look at a lot of my experience may come from the military, but when you look at a general when he's looking at war, right, when he has a challenging dilemma ahead of him, it's not him at the table by himself, Dr. Bolton. He's surrounded by subject matter experts who can help guide him and lead him, and that's really what I'm looking at doing, is have that team atmosphere.
Josh, good luck to you.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. Anyone looking to reach out to Josh, of course, reach out to his website. And
thank you very
Josh,
much.
good luck to you.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate you. Josh Fitting for Adams County Sheriff, folks, candidate. Glad to have him here. Once again, folks, you need to get involved. Last year, record election, record turnouts, and then usually the year after that, municipal elections, we see a drop-off. 60, 70% during a presidential election, we drop to 20%, 30% in municipal. There's no reason for that. Your municipal government is the biggest tax collector of your money. So you want to make sure every year, twice, May, November, show up to your polling place and vote. My next interview is with Mr. John Wega for Adams County Sheriff. And Mr. Wega, welcome to Community Media. Good to see you,
Thank you for
sir.
having me.
Please. So I know we got to talk a little bit earlier. Some of our viewers may not know who you are. So if you could just tell them who you are and what you currently do.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for having me today, Doc. And my name is John Wega. I'm running for the office of Sheriff in Adams County. And I'm currently the Lieutenant of Operations working with retiring Sheriff James Muller. And I've been here for 12 years at the Sheriff office. And I've pretty much worked every aspect of the Sheriff office as a deputy, warrant team, civil service, transport, court security, PFA services, and then being promoted to corporal, oversaw the scheduling and all the courts, and did a lot of good work there to develop warrant search mechanisms on the computer, and was promoted to sergeant and now lieutenant. So I've not just been a deputy that's done all the different aspects of the sheriff office. I've now been able to supervise and improve those services over the last 12 years. I'm currently endorsed by the retiring Sheriff James Muller and the Fraternal Order of Police, the Tri-County Lodge, and additional endorsements from people such as Major Lee Greenfield, U.S. Army, Colonel Norm Balkanis, U.S. Air Force, Pastor Jerry Stolfus, and other people that are very experienced and I've known for many years. I'm a graduate of the Pennsylvania Sheriff's Academy, Class 44, and I served as the class president as selected by my peers and won the Law Award recipient for the academic excellence in law. I also have a bachelor's degree from the University of Maryland, College Park in biology, and I'm a graduate of the U.S. Marshal School out of the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia for court security. That was a great time down there. And my experience really does suit me well to step into the office of sheriff. There's a lot of business operation of the sheriff. You know, we see things from TV. You know, maybe you see cops, or maybe you've looked at Barney Fife or got an impression of a sheriff in movies or some. Some haven't been so favorable. But you see the exciting things. And it's that's actually a small part of what we do. About 5% would be those warrant services on that as needed. And thankfully, Adams County doesn't have a lot of high-risk criminal warrants. But the court operations is about 60 to 70% of the operation. Court security, moving inmates in for the hearings. And then civil service is probably about another 10%, going out in the field and serving court orders and paperwork for the courts or attorneys that are requesting that. We do extraditions. That's close to another 10% of the operation. We'll go up to 300 miles from Adams County to pick up inmates that are, or prisoners, people that have been either moving for a hearing or been arrested on a warrant. And extraditions beyond that, we hire a company, a transport service to bring those people in. And then, of course, we have about a 5 to 10% load for serving the warrants. And most of the warrants in Adams County are served in the courthouse. I developed the ability, actually I was the first sheriff deputy in Pennsylvania to attend the Common Pleas Court Management System training to be able to do a computerized warrant search statewide. Otherwise, it was looking at local missile, name by name by name by name, and it was very arduous and it really wasn't very efficient. So I was able to develop a system which we can print out a spreadsheet, give it to the deputies, and we're actually combing or cast a net for people that have warrants across the state. And that's become more efficient. One aspect of that is we can serve those warrants safely because you're not out on the street. Many officers don't have much of a choice with some of the warrants other than put someone in jail. We have some options being at the courthouse and being in the sheriff's office to be able to see that those are resolved, perhaps without going to jail. And that's one thing. I think it helps people move along and also in the process, but also do it safely and they get back to their work, their jobs. They're not away from their families for days or maybe miss work and possibly get fired from a job. There's a lot of consequences to things.
Right.
So that's been really a great thing to do, and I think it's much safer. You know, there's been deputies that have been killed or wounded in service of warrants, and they found out that they were in court not long before, and they say, well, why didn't you snag them at that time? And you know, perhaps they missed that. So a lot of experience, and also beyond my experience at the sheriff's office, I have a lot of a high degree business background as well as other things. And I think that really ties together to be a synergistic fit of the business management because we have a $1.8 million budget. Most of that goes to actually salaries and benefits, but we're processing a lot of paperwork for the county. 4,000 licensed to carry permits. That's quite an operation with that if you take 200 working days.
Right.
We're not just serving the county with those, but out-of-state applicants. A lot have been coming from Maryland. We also process the foreclosures to do the sheriff sales for homes. That's a lot of money passing through hands on that. We're serving attorneys and banks and that type of thing. Very important work to get it right.
Absolutely.
And all the court orders and paper that work that does come down through the court. And along with the training to be a sheriff, the academy was 760 hours. It's a great program. It's the Sheriff Academy at Penn State. 5 months of living actually at the academy.
Are they dorm you up and everything?
Well, they put us in hotels, and they let us come home for a weekend, but it was a great program. It really covered a lot. And I was just looking at my training resume, and I've actually accumulated over 1,800 hours of training in my 12 years here. So in one working year, if you take 40 hours times 12 months, that's about 2,000 hours. If you calculate payrolls, 2,060 hours. So I'm close to 1 full year of training going into my 12 years here at the sheriff's office. So that's important, not just to get the initial training, but the main training, instructorship for like the taser, that type of thing. So it's a big background, which I think really does provide me a broad aspect of managing the office.
Excellent. Well, I know you've kind of answered some of my other questions here, so very efficient. So I guess looking forward, let's say John Wega becomes sheriff of Adams County. What would you look to do? Like, you know, we all know Sheriff Muller's done a good job, but what would you be looking to do maybe to establish it as your department?
That's a very good question. Appreciate it. I think along with that question, I think we need to develop a vision for the sheriff's office going out, say, 5-10 years, because when you're looking at budgets, you just can't show up, you know, say every year we have the budget, same process. You can't show up then and say, well, we need this, we need that, because you have to forecast out. You know, budgeting has to be cast to a vision. Get other people to buy into that and see why. You know, work to say education of other people within the county and outside the county and say this is really where we think we have needs. And that way you can start to forecast out. In the next 5 years, I'd like to have X, or I'd like to have this equipment, or I'd like to have this staff. We'd like to go to a divisional-based type of operation. And with that type of thing, getting people on board, money doesn't grow on the trees. So you have to really work together with people that are looking at grants, state resources, federal resources perhaps, and you can't do it all yourself from our operational standpoint. So I think a vision to look out 5 years, 10 years, not just for what I would want to do, but cast a vision for the office to operate and better serve the county as those needs are analyzed, looked at, forecast. And one aspect really to do that, we have so many people in Adams County that have so much knowledge and skills. There's a lot of retirees. There's a lot of military veterans, and they have decades, just that one specific example, many have decades of experience in security, in, say, looking at an active shooter, clearing of a building. You know, an advisory board with people like that. I have someone now that was Secret Service. He worked at the White House on a combat action team, a counterattack team. Very experienced in this type of thing. Other people that were Army Rangers. Some people were business We need to get a seat at the table for all walks of life for the county, so we develop a two-way street input on what's going on, what's important, what issues are you seeing, what's affecting the community. And the other thing is help to push back out educational aspects of things we want to do, so it goes back out to the people that may not know about it or hear it, and that's really going to be a vital to moving forward. I think we have to be resourceful and creative in this current environment because of, budgets, tax money, that type of thing. That's not necessarily a constraint, but it's a reality what we have to deal with in. So I think my business experience of I worked with Beringer Mannheim, a $3.2 billion corporation. They put me to a lot of training to be an account manager, and at 25, 26 years old, I was managing $1.5 million of sales for big institutions in the biotech world. Later, I was hired to come in to train biotech PhDs how to be an account manager, and I helped the company go from $4 million a year to $20 million in 3 years. So that's forecasting, that's targeting, that's looking at the big picture, that's getting people to join and build a team, and I think that has to be broadened just beyond the team of deputies in the sheriff office in and of itself.
Very good. So it looks like we're out of time. Why don't you tell the viewers how to get in touch with you? And if you have a website and how they can get involved.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I'm John Wega. Vote for me on May 20th in the primary. And I have a website. It's Wega for Sheriff 2025. And I'll be putting my information on there as far as my background and also my training resume showing those 1,800 hours of training. And you can look at that. There's also some events. I'm conducting another personal security seminar as a series. We're doing that on May 8th in McSherrystown at the Life Discovery Church. Come on out and see how you can protect yourself from scammers and skimmers and high-tech thieves that are really affecting so many people today. It's a great seminar. I think you'll enjoy it. It's free, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Information on the website to register. Also, fitness is great. It's huge. I've been in martial arts and training in boxing and kickboxing and Ishinru karate and Kali stick fighting and Bondo since I've been 12 years old. I still maintain that. I'm training with the Shaolin Master, 34th generation, now for the past couple years, and it's important to be fit, be healthy to protect yourself, and live well. So we're having a fitness challenge on May 3rd at the GPG Performance Center. Information and sign-ups on our website. Do that today and come on out. Get a team together. We're going to have a great time.
John Wega, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much.
John Wega for Adams County Sheriff, folks. One thing I want to mention here that Mr. Wega pointed out was how important training is. So important to get training, no matter what position you're in. And local officials have training that is available to them through the various organizations, the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs and the Pennsylvania State Association of Township do training every year on a monthly basis. If you get elected, please reach out.
Hey, can you get a little less loud?
I could. Mayor Phil Wagner. He'll be joining us later. I think next up we have Mr. David Laughman. He's going to talk to us about the Adams County Council of Governments and also about his candidacy for mayor. So, hey, welcome.
Welcome, David.
So I have the privilege of knowing Dave for the last few years. We've served on COG committees together, and we are both past presidents of the COG. And so let's talk about COG for a little bit, and your experience with COG and what maybe the public doesn't know about what COG does.
One of the best kept secrets in Adams County is the Adams County COG. Adams County COG stands for Adams County Council of Governments. It was established in 2009. And what makes our COG, there are COGs all over the Pennsylvania, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. Our particular COG, in its founding members, had on its primary board, the vice president, the president, treasurer, and secretary, a mixture of all three categories of the people that COG helps to represent. COG is unique in that you have a boroughs association that represents boroughs, you have a township association that represents townships, and you have a county commissioners that represents the county as a whole. One of the things that does not provide is a voice and a way to transfer information accurately, succinctly, and not in that phone call where you call and tell the next guy, you tell the next guy. By the time it gets to the end, destruction or euphoria has happened when it was just basic information. What the COG provides is a forum, and it runs for an hour and a half, the fourth Thursday of every month. It allows all the member municipalities, all of the school districts to get together and talk. But in addition to that, one of the several things that we do a little bit differently than other COGs in the county, or in the state, is we provide and request that the county commissioners attend. We request that the Economic Alliance attend. We request that the representatives, both state representatives, state senators, and our local congressman from Washington also sends representatives, and we get updates on that. They get to hear directly what the municipalities and school districts are facing. They get to share. And one of the real keystones on the setup of the COG was every municipality in the county and every school district gets a single vote. So you can't have the larger municipalities that have significantly different concerns than, say, a small borough or a small township. But each gets one vote on the things that we want to accomplish, the legislative items that we want to have pursued by our representatives in both Washington and the state. They all get a single vote. We have a series of subcommittees too. Some of those subcommittees are your basic subcommittees like finance, et cetera, that do the budget and oversee the spending, et cetera. But some of the really unique ones is the collaboration committee, which you and I spent some time together on at various points in the past however many years.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a little while.
That the special items that the COG pursues started with insurance. And while it wasn't the success it was hoped to be, it was a greater success than was expected. Because they found that COG couldn't do a one-size-fits-all and do a group buy for the municipalities and school districts because the needs were so varied. But what it did do is it got those municipalities to have various and sundry groups that offer insurance at different ways to stand in front of the entire group that attends. And again, this is once a month. They got to hear what the different companies offered without each one having to make its own appointment and missing some. You had a group effort to bring that information before the COG. Council of Governments plays an important role, a super important role in the county. They've also did the fire study, which we're still working off of today. And there are some people that are going, 10 years has passed, or now it's more, have passed, and the needs are different. The amount of volunteers available is different. The cost of equipment is different. The needs to shore up or consolidate or whatever the results of a study would be is what is being considered for reopening that and bringing some new core analysis material to the table to get something that we can better work with.
And if I may, just boroughs and townships in Pennsylvania are required to provide fire protection for the people that live in their municipality. So that affects everybody.
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 And because it's the COG, you have input from county commissioners as they're there. You have input from state and senators. You have economic development. We have the Pennsylvania State Police show up and give reports and give recommendations of us to take back on things that they're starting to experience. Right. One of the things that they had mentioned led to the current collaborative committee effort, and that's working with municipalities to determine what their cybersecurity situation is. and being mindful, because we're all part of either a school district or a municipality, in all cases both, being mindful that that information is very sensitive. So we partnered with Penn State in order to gather that information, have them do the analysis, and then provide an overall analysis back to all the participants. So we're looking for some really good results of that. And most recently, prior to that, they did an analysis of the training needs of the municipalities in order to provide, if we can get a class together for this many people for this particular category, we can hold it in a central location so you don't have to have people take days off to go somewhere. Right. And they'll bring the trainer to us. So there's a lot of really cool things that is being done in the COG.
Well, I was going to say I want to do a little transition there because the smaller municipalities. Of course, I work for Abbottstown Borough. You're in a small community as well, and there's not a lot of resources for those smaller communities to do some of these projects. So, in your position, let's say now, translating back into your position as mayor. How does that affect your community?
Well, our community is, it's one of the exceptional communities in the county. We try to be as self-sufficient as possible. We still have that idea that, you just work a little harder and you can make it on your own. We haven't raised taxes in close to 15 years. Excellent. We are utilizing it gets harder each year, but we were able to do major road repairs and upgrade to the sewer plant and the sewage piping in a lot of the streets before somebody determined that what we had there from 100 years ago is somehow all of a sudden dangerous. Right. And has to be recorded. And so a very insightful, very forward-thinking group of borough council members. I've seen other ones, and I think we have one of the best. One of the things as mayor is in a small town or in a large town, typically the mayor is responsible for the police. We don't have a police department. We have the state police. So that affords me the opportunity to be involved in other organizations representing Arntsville, Pennsylvania. For example, I'm the chairman of the Adams County Transportation Planning Organization. And this is my third year, I think, of representing not only Arntsville, but all of Adams County in regards to federal highway and state highway. And I'd like to shout out to Sherry and to Andrew at the planning office. We couldn't get any of that stuff done without you guys. Thank you. But in addition to that, I'm on the Adams Economic Alliance Board, and I was recently moved up to the Executive Committee. So we meet once a month, and the board meets once every other month to look at things in the county. One of the recent things they looked at was blight and how to grow economically without disturbing the footprint of why people live and come to Adams County. In addition to that, I was past president of the Adams County Council of Governments for 2 years during COVID. So that was tough to keep an organization together. But it took a lot of work, and are we going to have it this month? Are we going to have it remote? Who's got the remote that'll last for the hour? It just, there was a lot of moving around to keep it alive and keep it still moving forward for times like now when we can meet pretty much every month. In addition, I'm a Rotarian and also represent Arntsville on the Adams County Borough Association, which you'll hear talk later. Shout out to her for taking on that role. We appreciate it.
So I know we've run over a little bit, but Dave doing double duty here for us today with the with the association and with his own candidacy. So as mayor of Lawrenceville, you're running again. How do people reach out to you? How do they get involved in your campaign?
They can reach me at David at DL3 Systems. That's Delta Lima, the number 3 systems.com. We will have in the next few days Laughman.org, LAUGHMAN.org, with some information about my history, my years of living in Arntsville, and my last 25 years of living in western Adams County.
Excellent. Dave, thank you for everything you do. Folks, when I talked about the 80-20 rule, this is the 20 right here. This is one of those guys that does it all, and he does it for you because he enjoys serving you, but I guarantee you he'd love to have some help.
Yep. Get involved. Do as little or as much as you'd like to, because you will make a difference. There's so few people get involved that your little bit of input will make a difference that you will not even recognize. Please, just get involved anywhere.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you.
David, thanks for your time.
David Laughman, folks, for mayor of Arntsville.
Take care.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
80-20 rule, folks. That's what it's about. 20% of the people do 80% of the work, and you're going to meet several other people here today who are in those positions. It's not that they want to control everything, folks. It's that the work needs to be done, and these are the people stepping up, and they're sacrificing their personal time and their family time and the goals that they have to make sure that their communities have what they need. So let's make sure that you reach out to them, thank them, and stop out today. Stop out today here to the municipal office in New Oxford and thank them for their service. So next up we have the president of the Adams County Boroughs Association, and that is Ms. Nina Tipler. Nina, welcome to Community Media.
Sir, how are you?
Oh, I am just dandy. Sporting my Liberty jacket, and I'm proud of my alma mater. So we're going to talk to you a couple times today,
Yeah,
I guess.
we can do it all together.
You want to do it all
Sure.
together? Okay, great. So let's talk about the Adams County Boroughs Association. Some of the folks don't know what that is, even though I've harped for years about people getting involved. So let's talk about how you got involved.
Well, I got involved because my predecessor, David Bolton, was moving on to some bigger and better things. So I stepped in as vice president, and then our president was ready to step down after about 20 years. So I became the president of the Adams County Boroughs Association, and we get together several times a year, and we do a ton of networking. That is the very best thing that you can do when taking a role in local government, because you don't know what you don't know until you meet somebody who does know. So by getting out, getting involved, going to meetings such as Adams County Boroughs Association, you meet people that may have a very similar problem that you're seeing, and you can work together and try to figure out how to fix your problem without reinventing the wheel. As Ron Harris has always said, don't reinvent the wheel. So we get together and we have a very informal meeting. We go through several of our different Adams County associations. We give reports about things that are happening with other committees, and then we always have a guest speaker. And at our next meeting, which will be May the 12th, we have two people coming from our Pennsylvania State Boroughs Association, and it's very nice because they are there to support us. Anything that we have a question about, we can always reach out to ask for information from them, and they're coming to give us a legislative review about all the things that right now are going on the Hill. So by coming out, listening to our speakers, you get a better grasp of kind of what's going on, and you can network with the other people in the group. And we now have dinners that are brought in, so you get to have a little bite to eat while we're listening to things that are going on in the area.
Excellent, excellent. Now, of course, the Adams County Boroughs Association is a kind of a subsidiary of the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs,
Yes.
and we know you have some experience there as well.
Yeah, so I'm on the board of directors with the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs, board of directors, teller committee, conference committee, awards committee. So that keeps me very busy, but it is also a very wonderful way to meet people across our state to network. And I've been able to use several of those network instances in my own town several times.
So it's not that, oh, I'm the president, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take these positions. It was, oh, I'm doing this position, I'm doing this, and you just kind of worked your way in, and so now you've got 80% of the work, and you're looking for some more 20%ers maybe to come in and help you out.
I currently have 17 seats, local, state, and county.
Wow.
So it does keep me very busy, and it would be wonderful to see more people stepping into those roles. Somebody has to do it, so when I have time, I'm happy to do it, but it would be great to have others come aboard as well.
Right. So one of the big things I know that I was passionate about, that Ron was passionate about, of course, was legislation.
Yes.
Adams County for years was known as a pulpit for legislation to the state. Can you talk a little bit maybe about some of the topics over the years that are important to Adams County?
Well, I think one of the big things that we just found out about not that long ago is that it has always been part of the borough code that someone could be elected, never show up for anything, ever, and still receive their full paycheck. And now things are moving along so that we may have the ability to pay per meeting or pay less if someone just doesn't show up. And I feel that if you are going to be a council member, a mayor, something within your local government, you should show up. And your people should know that you are there because you want to help them, not just because you're there to pick up a paycheck. I know that some of the big things that have been worked on through many years are the use of LIDAR and radar for local police. That is still hanging in the balance. For some reason, there are some that feel that that is a moneymaker, although we know that that's not necessarily the truth, but that comes up every year. Other big things are helping our local fire companies with retention, because unfortunately, it's hard enough to get people to do a job that they're paid for, but to have people volunteer has become even slimmer. So trying to help our volunteer fire companies bring people in, retain them, train them, and have more people available in the area to help during an emergency.
And I can, just from experience, the whole radar situation. Pennsylvania is the only state that doesn't allow municipal police to use radar. It's only allowed by PSP. Mayor Ron Harris and the Mayor's Association at the state level for years try to get some movement on that. And of course, our Representative Dan Mao a couple of years ago tried to broach it in legislation. The fire department's huge.
Yes.
Huge. It's just, what I remember legislation that we pushed to help get them exempted from local taxes.
Yes. Yes.
To help them pay for their equipment, pay for the training that they pay out of pocket.
Yes. Well, not only that, but firemen actually pay to belong to the organization to come out and save people.
Right.
So they actually pay money to do that. But yes, they're having the relief fund set up, having, I try to help at every single one of our fire company events, because I feel that not only do I live there, but I feel a very strong, I am responsible for these members that are out there doing this. So I feel very strongly that I should be there to help raising all the funds that they need to keep the doors open.
So in the last couple of minutes we have, you're not only all these great and wonderful positions, which, I'm not being facetious. You hold a lot of great and wonderful positions, and you do well with it, but you also hold the position of mayor.
I do.
In York Springs.
This
So
is my 7th year.
7th year. Let's talk about York Springs and maybe how it was when you came in and where it's at now and where you hope to take it.
Well, when I first came into this position, I was appointed, and I started going out to a lot of the different meetings. And I was looked at kind of oddly because no one from York Springs had really attended any of these things before. And one thing that I'm very proud of, just as we were coming out of COVID, we needed to find a way to bring everyone back together. So one of our local church pastors had approached to see if we'd be interested in starting a community group. So it's a pretty small group of all of our nonprofits in our town. And for a very small town, we have a lot of churches. And we also have the Lions Club, the fire company, and we formed a group that we put on events for our town just to bring everybody back together. Right. And I'm very proud of that because at all of those events, we have a town of 600 people. We see between 300 and 400 people at each of these events.
Wow, that's a great turnout.
Yes, our town used to be one of those towns that everybody knew everybody's name. We're getting back to that again.
That's awesome. And if we could get those kind of turnouts on municipal elections,
absolutely.
It only takes a couple minutes, folks, twice a year
yes.
to show up. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, so we have several people that are running for office with this municipal election, and if I could just put a plug in for them, myself, I'm running for mayor again. Michael Tipler, my husband, who is the chairman of our water and sewer, is also running for borough council. We have Michael Donnelly, who is running for borough council, and we have Lorenzo DeVito, who is running for borough council. And we'd be happy to have them all.
Wonderful, wonderful. I know your husband's very involved in the fire department. I've been to a few of their events.
Yes. He's always the cook.
I always leave with plenty of food. Yes. If there's one thing I've shown, it's I definitely support a food event. So.
And in our little tiny town, you wear several hats. So if somebody needs to know what's going on in town, they can call me or my husband, and between the two of us, we know something that's going on.
Very good. Nina Tipler, folks, for the Adams County Boroughs Association and York Springs.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. So, folks, if you like what you see here today, community media, you can become a Patreon member of this studio. Now, what does that mean? For $5, $10, or $25 a month, you can support local programming just like this today. Visit communitymedia.net and click on Support Us as a Patreon for details. And we hope to make you a member here. So next up, my next interview, we have Ms. Luann Boyer. She is going to talk to us about the Adams County Association of Township Officials and her own candidacy in Conewaga Township. So, hey, Luann,
hello.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Community Media. Hey, we've known each other quite a while.
Yes, we
Quite
have.
a while, and I know you're a very busy woman.
Yes.
So I appreciate you coming out today.
Absolutely.
For those that don't know you, tell them who you are and what you do.
Oh, well, my name's Luann Boyer. I am the president of the Adams County Association of Township Officials. I'm also a Conewaga Township Supervisor. I have been a Conewaga Township Supervisor. This is my 18th year. And I got into doing that because I was an EMT since 1979. I was young. And by the time I was 40, my body decided, not quite right. I can't jump in and out of ambulances anymore. I still did it as much as I could, but I felt that getting into the township supervisor was a way of still giving back to the community. And that's why I did it, and I love it, and I'm, still very much part of it. So.
Excellent. In your role with the township's officials,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk a little bit about the organization.
Okay.
What are their goals? What do they do? When do they meet?
We are an organization that is there between the level of townships and the state level. The state is Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, which is PSATS. And PSATS has a conference once a year in Hershey. But we're the intermediary level so that if the township people have issues or they have something that they want to talk to somebody about, but they don't want to go to the level of the state, they can come to the individual county associations. We have our quarterly meetings. We just had one 2 weeks ago, and we talk about different things. We also do things for our township supervisors and others within the township. Like we just held a flagger training course, which was supported by us, but provided by PSAT's trainers. We actually had 24 individuals that went to the training, and they all passed. thankfully enough. Of those 24 individuals, we had from all over Adams County and some from York County, because PSATs opened it up. Even though we were, supporting it, PSATs put it out for everybody. So we had some from Montgomery County that came. Of course, there was other ones that I had no clue where they were from, but they were there, which was fantastic. So we were hoping for 12 people for the class, and we wound up with 24. Also, what Acato does is we have a luncheon once a year for the secretaries. Secretaries are very important people within the townships, and those secretaries need to be recognized. Not that not that townships don't recognize them, but we as the Township Association want to recognize them as well. We give them a dinner, which is a nice dinner, and then we have a speaker come in. Like last year's speaker spoke about some issues that are new things coming up through. Right to know, what you have to do with right to know, who's responsible, just different issues and the legalities of such. We asked that they tell us things that they're interested in, like if they're interested in a seminar coming up, like maybe for QuickBooks, or if they're looking for something for how grant writing or anything like that. But we do have our meetings quarterly, and I couldn't do this without the support of my vice president and the secretary and the treasurer. We're a very good group and very, very proud of everything we've done so far. We have our big convention at the end of the year in November with a nice big meal, and community media was there for the first time last year, and they were there through the whole thing, and were able to show just what we do, and all the people that were there. We had vendors were there, and we had great food from Saves. So it was a very nice evening. And we had our keynote speaker, who was Russ Redding, the Secretary for the Department of Agriculture, and
An Adams County resident.
an Adams County resident. So
Excellent. A lot of people may not realize there are different laws for townships and boroughs.
Yes.
They are actually separate statutes.
yes,
In the state law. So some of the things townships can do, boroughs may not,
Exactly.
or vice versa. And even within the townships, some first, second class can do things that maybe third class can't.
correct.
So just transitioning a little bit from the association to your position in Conewaga Township, what do you see are some of the challenges coming forward for townships such as Conewaga?
Well, some of the biggest things coming forward right now is the improvements. The new Eisenhower extension is supposed to be coming through. That's a big challenge. There's a lot of people that are not happy about it. There's also some changes within the township where we have a new company that is trying to come in. They want to do something with waste, and there was a lot of apprehension on that with different issues, the smell, traffic, you name it. One of the biggest challenges with townships is getting things done. We want to put a new roof on the township building, but we have to go through prevailing wage because we're a township. So that increases the cost of any of our projects by almost double, because what we could put out there for a $30,000 project now comes in at closer to 60. It's almost double because we have to do prevailing wage. That's something that I'm going to play a little trick here, but between the PSATs and the resolutions that PSATs puts through to the state level government, we're trying to get that level heightened so that right now I think it's at a couple $1,000 level, but anything above that we have to go into prevailing wage. So obviously a new roof on the building is going to be above $20,000. So we automatically hit with prevailing wage. That's one of the things that a resolution that we're looking at this year at PSATs at our conference next month, that we're going to try and push through to the legislature to have them help us, if anything, raise that level, because it hasn't been raised in many, many years. So we're trying to get them to raise that level.
So what I'm hearing, Ms. Boyer, is that you're spending your time in your positions to help save taxpayers' money on their public projects.
As much as we possibly can.
That's-
We haven't raised taxes within Kahnawga Township. We're not planning on raising taxes. Our new budget for the year, we're well into the new year. We'll start budgets again in August, which is a challenging time of year, but we do it. And we've been able to maintain over the last couple of years, and we have a great board of supervisors. So
Excellent. And prevailing wage for some of you folks, all that means is after a certain limit, the $20,000 limit, if your project is more than that, you end up paying time and a half for a lot of your labor. Unfortunately, that's money that is coming directly from the taxpayers, and it is being increased solely on the fact that a threshold has been crossed.
that's correct.
For the project. And as you know, $20,000 doesn't go very far
Yes.
with a project. So, Luann, anything else you want to leave with our viewers, or if they need to get in contact with you?
If they need to get in contact with me, they can call the township. We have all my information is there. They will contact me, and I can get back in contact with them. Also, I appreciate everything you've done, and this was great. As far as Cato is concerned, our next meeting is not until June, and if anyone's interested in that, they can also contact me through the township, and I would gladly welcome them to the meeting. We always want more people to follow us at our meetings, because I'd like for Cato to grow like the COG grew. COG started out very low-key, and now they're very prominent within the county. So I'd like to be able to bring our Cato team back up to where COG is.
Excellent. Luann Boyer, Kahnawga Township Supervisor.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Folks, prevailing wage, I'm not going to say a lot more about it, but what I will tell you is you want changes to the prevailing wage law. So make sure you're reaching out to your representatives, your senators, your local government. Tell them that you support changes to prevailing wage, because all it's doing is spending more of your local tax money on the exact same projects, making them cost more. So that's going to close out our county representatives, and we thank them all for coming on today. The next portion of our interviews will include local municipal candidates. Now, these are candidates from the boroughs and townships, and we have limited those to council members and mayors, supervisors, and then also school board directors. I do want to mention quick, there are other positions on the ballots. You have some tax collectors and auditors that are on the ballots. Some of those are not competitive. Some of them are on there and do not have candidates. Again, folks, 80-20 rule. Let's get out there, find a position nobody's running for, put your name down, and see what you can do to help out your local government. So now we're going to bring on Miss Laura Baker. She is running for Abbottstown Borough Council. Laura, welcome to Community Media.
Dr. Bolton. Miss?
The formality. So I know Laura personally because, of course, she's one of my bosses in Abbottstown Borough as a council member. So some folks don't know you that well. So tell them who you are and what you do.
An introvert mostly. But no, I'm a homegrown girl. Came up the hard way like a lot of us have. I went through college, but then my life fell apart and so forth and so on. So you pick up your bootstraps and you keep on marching on. That's all you can do. I love this town of Abbottstown, and I've been very privileged to be on council for as long as I have in trying to better the town in any way that I can possibly help.
So you've served how many terms now?
This will be your
You know, I
third?
was thinking that last night. I can't
Is
remember.
this your third
I was
term?
put on for 2 years.
Right.
So this would be my third full term.
Okay.
4 years.
So you had 2 years as an
Yes.
appointment.
Right. So I was, what, 8? No, 10 years I've been on. Ooh. That's a long time.
Well, when you have fun, time flies.
Yes, evidently. Yes.
So speaking of fun, of course, when I think of fun, I think of parks. I think of community parks. I think of playgrounds. But why don't you tell us a little bit about Abbottstown?
Well, when I first came to Abbottstown, it was kind of a sad town. And when I went to the park, I was really appalled at what they had. There was a lot of open land. There was swing sets, and but they were outdated. The whole park needed to be updated. And so that I made that my main goal, to try to get something done so that we had maybe a walking path, a new playground, at least a new playground, tables that were decent, because the ones there at the time were falling apart, and really make it acceptable for handicap or anybody who wanted to come and enjoy the outdoors. I mean, that was my whole goal. And thanks to you, Dr. Bolton, and pushing and helping to get the money behind us and stuff that we needed, the grants to get there. Hopefully, we will.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm running again, because I want to see this to the end now. I've been working on it for 7 years, and I'd really like to be a part of the town to finish this concept that I've had to rebuild the park.
So we've done a few grant cycles already. We've done some improvements to our pavilion. We've added a sand volleyball court. We've got baseball teams, taking care of 2 baseball fields there.
And it's
We're
nice
looking
to
at a new
see.
grant for the playground now, $180,000. We partnered with J.E. Myers for some money.
DCNR.
So what's next? What's the next term for Laura Baker in Abbottstown going to bring for the people?
Well, like I said, I'd like to finish the park. I think there's still some more things that need done in town, and I'm hoping that we can work at getting that. But there again, everything needs money or volunteers, which is something we don't have. We don't have enough volunteers, if any. That's a big drawback when you're a small town with a very small budget. So, yeah, all I would like to do is continue improving the town.
And finishing that park off, we've got a master plan in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, we had a couple first round grants that, we weren't given, of course, and we met with some officials, and we were able then to subsequently get those funds.
Yeah, I think once they saw our concept and what we wanted to go with it, I think they were more willing to help us out with that and point us in the right direction and actually help us get where we needed to be.
And of course, partnerships with J.E. Myers, Warehouse Rocks,
Yes.
for their donations, Affordable Pet in town have all been beneficial to those efforts. Going forward, what do you think Abbottstown Council needs to continue their success? You said it was kind of a nothing town when you got there.
Well, I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, but it's improved.
Yes.
What do you see the future of Abbottstown?
I would like to see more interaction with town. Bring back like town picnics or town get-togethers on a Saturday once a month or something like that. Get more people involved in helping in the town. Maybe do more historical and get more people involved in the historic side of it. Since we are the gateway to Adams County, by the way, we should do more of that historically. And with the upcoming celebrations that we've got going on, I think it would be a good idea to go in that direction.
Very good. And of course, you were on council when Abbottstown decided to support community media
Yes.
with their franchise fees.
I think it's an awesome idea, and I wish them the best, and I hope they keep pushing it because they are an awesome organization.
Any word to municipalities who don't currently support community media through franchise fees? Any advice for them?
I think it would be a good idea for them to switch to helping out. It does not really costing them that much, and every little bit helps. I mean, if you only give a little bit, every little bit helps, and I like to see them continue to grow.
Any closing remarks? Anything you want to leave the viewers with?
No, I just wish everybody a very happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, Laura.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thanks for all you do. Laura Baker, Abbottstown Borough Council, folks. Glad to have her here. A little different from our usual conversations when she comes in as my boss and gives me directions. So it was nice to have that. Folks, as I explained today, community media is nonpartisan. That means there is no spin. There are no gotcha questions today. It's all about your communities, your candidates, and what they can do for you. So the next person I'm going to bring out now is Mayor Phil Wagner from Biglerville.
Scotty.
Phil, welcome on. Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Called me Scotty again. There's a...
Beam me up.
They got me. So I've known Phil for quite a while. Along with Dave Laughman, we've worked on some COG committees together.
Yep.
And but other folks don't know you. Just give them a brief who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Phil Wagner. I am a retired Army colonel of 27 years, active duty, and I have been the Biglerville mayor. This is year number 6 that I'm running for re-election.
6th year.
So there you got it. I consider myself the biggest cheerleader for Biglerville. That's my job.
So as a mayor, of course, you were in charge of the time and place of the police.
Yep.
We had some other mayors here, but they didn't have police departments.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity to talk to you about that. What do you see as the rewards and the challenges of operating your police department?
Well, all our small towns and villages suffer from the bald-faced fact that the state police are understaffed to take care of everything in the state. So Biglerville is really blessed to have our chief and one person that's not full-time, but as full-time as you can get with 2 people. I have listened to the history of how Biglerville was before the first guy was that started the police force, and it was not good. It was drugs and problems with domestic violence and you name it, and it has cleaned it up. And thanks to my police chief, Craig Hartley, and my one officer Joe David, it is a much better and safer community. Expensive, yes. A lot of small towns just can't afford it. But I would say, in reality, you really can't afford not to have it. And I love my state police, but there's just not enough of them to go around. Unless it's a real emergency, they're not going to show up for domestic violence or maybe a robbery, but not in 5 minutes. So.
And state police will not enforce local ordinances.
No, they will not.
So if there's a noise complaint or fireworks that maybe don't fall under the state law, they're not going to come out.
Nope, they will not.
As a manager of a small town, of course, we have our own police department as well, and I think the sentiments were the same in Abbottstown. People wanted some immediate responses to their concerns. What are some of the major concerns that you see now in Biglerville, having made that progress?
The only immediate issue that I still see is the state legislature refuses to pass allowing local law enforcement, if you're lucky enough to have them, utilize LIDAR or radar and enforce them. I mean, on my way here, we have 2 stoplights. Thankfully, I was watching because the light turned red and the other way, and a pickup truck went right over in front of me through the square. And the way the current laws are written by the state, in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, somebody can go 45 miles an hour on a small 2-way street. You can't give them a warning or a ticket unless you have a stopwatch and unless they're doing 11 mile an hour over. And I'm sorry, but that's where kids play on the streets. And so, other than that, there are no issues like that anymore.
So Mayor Tipler had talked about the radar LiDAR situation when she was on, and of course we talked about the efforts at the state level, and of course you were a big part of that.
Yes.
As well, back in the day when we were pushing that.
Yes.
You and Mayor Harris. Can you talk about the challenges that we still have, and if there might be any progress with that?
The public, generally speaking, thinks that if they get a ticket for $185, the small town, Bigleyville, would get all the money, and they would use radar to make money. The fact of the matter is, an $185 ticket, Bigleyville gets $12.50. Right. The rest goes to the magistrates and the state general coffers. Unfortunately, a lot of the larger areas like Philadelphia and the larger counties and cities have that same mindset, which is just sad, because one of the things I love about our police department, we work on compliance, not enforcement. Nothing would make my chief and my officer happier not to have to write any tickets because everybody was following the law. Right. That's funny, but not really, because that would make their job easier.
I tell everybody if there were no problems, I wouldn't have a job.
Yes.
Thank God for problems. But I just Mayor, is there anything you want to leave the viewers with?
Yes.
Any certain points?
Yeah. So I'm up for re-election for 4 more years, and then we'll find somebody younger. But what I want to take this opportunity, not for Bigleyville as much as Upper Adams communities celebrating America's 250th birthday, Flag Day, June 14th, 2026. I've already talked to so many small communities and the townships north of Gettysburg, Upper Adams. We're going to have a huge parade in Bigleyville on Flag Day on a Sunday afternoon. Everybody I've talked to is on board. It's going to be a big event, starting at the high school, ending at Oakside Community Park, where there will be bands on the stage. There will be a car show, there will be a tractor show, and then we end with the flag burning ceremony at Legion Woods, as always. 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, June 14th. Be there.
Be there.
And thank you to the community media for doing this for everybody.
Thank you.
And
Phil.
you too.
Well, we appreciate that. Bigleyville, good supporter of the station. You've always been an ally, and we wish you luck in your election and with your future endeavors.
Thanks, gang.
Thanks, Phil.
You're here.
Phil Wagner, folks, Bigleyville Borough Mayor. So important. I can't keep reiterating, but I will. The 80-20 rule, folks. This man has done a lot, holds a lot of positions, but he's always willing to bring somebody on board and get some help. So make sure, Bigleyville, reach out to Mayor Wagner and find out what you can do to help your community out. So now we're going to have a few familiar faces on. We are going to interview the candidates for Conewaga Township Supervisor, and we will bring back Miss Luann Boyer. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back. So we know who you are.
Yeah, how about that?
We know who you are. So we're going to give you some opportunity to talk specifically about Conewaga Township.
Okay.
Of course, I am a resident of yours, and I'm a vocal resident.
As you are.
As you know. So talk a little bit about some of the challenges as in general running townships in your position, and then maybe specifically.
Well, there's a lot of things that goes on within a township that when I first started, I had no clue of. I was totally overwhelmed. I thought I had an idea, but honest to goodness, I didn't. So now that I'm a little more seasoned, yes, there are lots going on. We have to take care of the roads and the infrastructures. And then, as I said earlier, the challenges with doing something to our own properties is a challenge because of, having for prevailing wage. And the projects that are going on within the township. there's so much disagreements when it comes down to whether the Eisenhower extension should go through, whether that new company should go on farmland. Well, that farmland hasn't been farmed for a while, and unfortunately, that farmland also wasn't farmland. It had been rezoned 2009, I want to say, and then we moved it back to industrial, from residential to industrial, because it just made more sense, because it was never going to go back to agricultural. There's too much others growing up around it. And what people don't always understand is that when a developer comes in, whether it's an industrial developer or whether it's a new homes developer, if they meet all the requirements set forth by our standards and by the standards of the state, we have no choice but to say yes. Because if they've met everything, then it's going to be a done deal. If we say no, they're going to sue us. And if we lose, that's going to cost the township more money than it would if we said yes. It's not going to be a popular decision saying yes, as you well know, but it's not always something we have the option to do.
Sure. So this is this particular parcel is a biofuel company, I do believe. And years ago, I know that there was a push in this state for industrial hemp and some biofuels. You said the land was agricultural. Now it's industrial, but producing a biofuel seems like it would fit in both of those categories.
Absolutely. Well, I sat in on, now I had no say in anything because they came into a zoning hearing because they had some things that they wanted to get passed. And I had no saying in it because it never came to the supervisors. Right. It had to start at a different level in the zoning. And as it progressed, well, obviously it'll come to the supervisors, but it has to progress through all the steps. What they were offering is, bottom line, yes, this biofuel, they're also going to give the residuals that come from this to the farmers to use for their crops. So it's going to be a plus if this does come through. Granted, it's a change. Nobody likes change. It's advancement. I get it. I'm not 100% on board as far as losing all this farmland, but then again, we're losing a lot of farmers too. You know, they're aging out, and the younger generation doesn't always necessarily want to move into that spot. We do have some. I mean, like within Kanawha Township, I think the Smith Farm, it might be a third, fourth, maybe even fifth generation. They've been there, and they have that wherewithal that they want to continue it. So proud of that fact. But then again, there's some that they have no one else that wants to follow in those footsteps. So they're going to get rid of the land, or they're going to get rid of it, and they're going to do with what they can. Right now, there's no more development planned in Kanawha Township as far as for homes. The one that's going on right now out by Saves on 116, I think there's 86, 89 houses proposed for that. And that's it. And they're all homes. They're all on half-acre lots. There's nothing else. And as it stands right now, we have no more open area for housing developments in Kanawha Township right now. So there's nothing else coming in. And as a township supervisor, having what they call a home, in all these homes, is much more expensive to maintain for the township than having industrial, because having these homes also require more fire, more EMS, more resources as far as utilities and those kind of things, whereas in an industrial doesn't require all those additional resources. Right. A lot of times the industrial will be taking care of their own. We don't have to take care of their roads. We don't have to take care of that maintenance as well. So therefore, it's a lot less on the township by having industrial. I'm not saying it's the best. I don't want anybody to misconstrue that I don't want to see farmers, because I came from I came from it.
Well, right.
So that's not it by any means. Unfortunately, it's just the growth of today.
So you wouldn't think that something like a biofuel facility, you hit the environmentalists, hey, it's biofuel.
Right.
We're going to, renewable energy. You would think, on the other side of it, hey, it's a business, we're pro-business, we want to do that as well. Where's the disconnect?
I don't know. Pro-business, it was the fact that it's changed. And a pro-business actually means more for the township and for the residents of the township, because that's going to help our tax base. Not only bring us more revenue through, taxes, but also it's going to add jobs to the township as compared to putting another bedroom community in that's going to require more resources. So, you've got to take that into consideration when you're looking at industrial versus a bedroom community. I know right now there's another company that wants to come in Conewaga Township, but it's actually on Hanover Borough property, and they're having a discussion on that right now. It's the same, but it's not the same as what the company that's proposing for Oxford Avenue. The one's a biofuel, the other one has more to do with, I guess, the sewage. So I don't have the 100% on that right now, but they talked to us about the possibility of using the old sewer plant that Hanover Borough owns and putting a company back there with biofuel and some other information. So that's all in the primary stages yet. So I don't have a whole lot of information on that. But there's a lot of challenges, and trying to keep taxes down, trying to keep everybody happy. We're trying to get that park under control, trying to get that done. That's something that we've been working on for quite some time.
The old airport.
Yep, the old airport. That in itself is a challenge, because the hangar back there, that needs some attention, as well as the house. We're, in the process of working on those things, getting some bids for stuff back there. We're still dealing with the engineers to try and get the Plum Creek taken care of. The Army Corps of Engineers are working on that. That's been in the works since 2019. That's a grant that they came to us with, and we've been using them, moving along through the project. It's finally coming to a point where it's going to come to a head. We're hoping that something's going to happen construction-wise in the next 6 months to a year. So.
Very good. Well, I can tell you, I was approached earlier in the year, and somebody, are you running for supervisor? And I said, no, we're in good hands. So I want to thank you for that, Luann. And thanks for coming on again.
Absolutely.
And guys, reach out to Luann Boyer, Conewaga Township Supervisor.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. One thing, folks, I'd like to hit for you quick is zoning hearing board. Luann mentioned that a little bit. That is a separate entity from a board of supervisors or a borough. They are community members that are chosen to make decisions on variances to the ordinances. So they are not elected officials. They are appointed by the different boards, so that decision is not being made by the elected folks who may have some influence. The elected folks created the law, and then this board determines whether or not a project falls into it. So zoning hearing board, very important to a community. There are always positions and alternate positions available in your community for zoning hearing board. So please reach out, find out what positions there are, and volunteer. We are now going to bring back Miss Charlotte Shaffer. She is running for Conewaga Township Supervisor.
Oh, long time.
I
It's
tell
been
you
a
what,
really long time.
you got my number. You could have called.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I came back because I'm taking your jacket.
Thank you. We'll get you one. So we just talked to Luann. She talked a little bit about specifically what townships face, what type of issues and struggles, and then particularly Conewaga, some of the particular issues. Same opportunity. What is your perspective as far as when you came into office, what you had to do to this point, and then what you need to face going forward?
I think that one of the biggest issues is as a supervisor, when you're making a decision, you always have to keep in mind property rights. With the projects that are being proposed when it comes to the Eisenhower Drive extension, the divert, the development across from Food Lion, the zoning of the land, you always have to look at property rights, which is the underlying misconception that the township supervisors, the board collectively as a whole has the power to stop something from happening. But you can't, you don't. You may not like what somebody's going to do with their property, but as long as they fulfill all of the requirements, stay within what the law permits, we can't stop them. Even collectively as a board, we can't stop them as long as they fulfill all the requirements. So obviously the Eisenhower Drive extension, we can't. That's us against, the state of Pennsylvania. It's happening. Do I agree with it? Personally, I do not. I see no purpose in cattle shooting patrons from Adams County over into York County, and I see what the argument is on both sides for it. My primary concern is keeping the business, the tax base, and everything in Adams County, in Conewaga Township, and what that does is it shoots people up into York County. Right. What do we benefit from? No, we don't benefit anything. The other project that we have is Divert. It is a hot topic issue, but there is a decision that that you have to make where it was zoned residential before. So what do you want? Do you want, let's say, 1,000 houses, which puts strain on everything, all the resources, the first responders, your police, your fire, it puts a strain on everything? Or do you communicate with the property owner to work something else out that it is not so impactful on the township negatively, which you have it rezoned to industrial, not commercial, industrial, where no, it's not all about the money, but it is about the money. It is about the impact financially by making the wrong decisions, because again, it goes back to property rights. That owner owns that property, very well could have put in 1,000 homes, in having a good relationship with property owners, you can work something out that benefits everyone. Right. And I know that was a long answer. But
no, that was a good answer, though. And I know Luann had mentioned how in some of those situations, if they're allowed to do it, if they can get a variance to do it,
they can do it.
It's one of two things. It's either the local municipality zoning hearing board allows them to do it.
Yes.
Or they say, no, you can't do it. It goes to the state. It gets appealed.
Yes.
And now all those costs come back down to the municipality.
Right. The zoning hearing board is a quasi-judicial board. We don't influence them. They are independent of the township. So if someone takes something before them and they make their decision, it comes back to us. And if we do not have a legal reason for denying them, we can't deny them. It's a difficult balance, because where your views are, but what the law states that you have to do. So
basically, this board is looking at the laws that your
Yes.
board has passed,
Yes.
and they're there to determine black and white.
Correct.
Is it allowed or isn't it?
Correct.
And
Yes.
And if it isn't allowed,
And it's not the
then
person.
that's the end of it.
Right. It is not the person that they're making the decision for. It is the actual property. They're looking at the property, not the specific person. Yeah, it's a balancing act.
And I know that we have some communities in the area that will be facing that soon.
Yes, there's quite a few.
With some turned down decisions
Yes.
for variances. So,
Yeah.
Charlotte, anything else you want to leave us with today?
Public engagement, it would be healthy for the township as a whole to communicate, not just when you have a complaint, communicate if you have an idea or if you would like to see something. Positive would be really nice once in a while. Engagement, if you're not engaging and keeping track of what is going on in the township, you shouldn't be surprised by when something comes up that you can't say that I didn't know anything about it. Well, it's put out there. It's on the agendas. It's in the meeting minutes. We do live stream the movies. Yeah. Netflix. I know.
Sometimes it feels like the movies, doesn't it?
It does. We live stream. I will say that, this is my 6th year, and I will say that this board works very, very well together. We are very transparent. I would invite Supervisor Boyer, but she's all the way over there because she and I, we agree sometimes, we agree to disagree, but we always walk away from the meeting in agreement that, we agree that we disagree on some issues. But overall, I do believe that we have a very healthy board. We have a very healthy township. We want public engagement, and we're doing our first national night out this year.
Oh, okay.
It's August 5th, I believe. And this is going to be exciting, so we want the whole community to get involved. And we're finally bringing that back to Kanawha Township.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Your drug
Yeah.
take-backs that you host all the time?
Next Saturday is the drug take-back. We do the electronic recycling. It's, oh gosh. There's a lot. You just have to be engaged.
Right.
We don't have the merchandiser anymore.
Right.
It's
For the announcements?
No, we don't. We don't have that anymore. And, even if we mailed something, it might get to 2.5 years later.
Well, and the cost of mailing has gone
Yes.
up so much for municipalities.
Yes, it has.
It is very,
Yeah.
very restrictive.
Yes. But, I think by and large, the majority of people have access to the internet. They have internet themselves. They can look at the website. If they don't have social media, they can still look at the website. And when we live stream the meetings, you don't have to have a Facebook account. You can just watch it live by clicking on, I think it's in the top right-hand corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
a lot of things going right
Yes.
in Kanawha Township.
I believe so. The past 6 years, we've hit some, I don't want to say brick walls, but we've hit some things that, for instance, the property that's been abandoned on 194, it took us a couple years and working on that, but there is that legal process that we have to go through, which, some may think it doesn't, you're not doing anything. Yes, we are. We
There's
just
a
have
process.
to wait. You have to wait. Yeah.
It's a process.
Yes, it
Yes.
is. It is.
Unfortunately, municipal hands are tied with some of these things, and I know in
Yeah.
Abbottstown we've had some properties like that as well that are just finally getting rehabbed.
Yes.
So it is a relief, and
Yes.
all of that work you do behind the scenes
Yes.
eventually pays off.
Well, right. You don't want to get yourself, you don't want to jump the shark or get ahead of anything and do something outside of your purview that the law allows, because then you wind up in a lawsuit, which could cost a lot of money. So,
Charlotte Shaffer,
Yes.
Kanawha Township Supervisor, folks.
and vote.
May
Show
20th.
up and vote. Get your friends and family out there to vote. And if you're not registered, register to vote. And also take advantage of the no excuse mail-in ballot, because there is no excuse not to vote.
No excuse, folks. We have 2 every year.
Yes, every year there
Every
is an
year,
election.
every
Every
year,
year. Every year.
Two times.
Yes, thank
Charlotte
you.
Shaffer, thank you.
Again, thanks again.
Thank you again, man.
Take care.
Take care. Folks, I'm going to take a few minutes. We'll be right back with Rita Frealing from Gettysburg Borough. Thanks.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
TA War Construction is sponsoring the 270 Micros with $1,000 to win. Save the date, May 27th, 2023 at Path Valley Speedway. Also on the card are the Macri Concrete 600s, the Sisney Auto Parts Thunder Cars, and the Metzler Truck and Trailer Wingless Sportsman. Be there at Path Valley Speedway, May 27th, 2023. Race night is brought to you by TA Ward Construction, fully insured, Navy veteran, located in Worleytown, PA. Call TA Ward Construction at 717-331-4974 for all your home improvement needs.
Trivia fans, are you ready for the area's newest game show? Introducing Community Media Trivia. Join Eliza and Jeff for this exciting game show every Tuesday at 7. From celebrities to local faces, Community Media Trivia will have you laughing and learning, all from the comfort of your living room. As the timer counts down, our trivia questions will keep you guessing as you try to beat our panelists and get your name on the leaderboard. Want to join in on the fun? Visit www.communitymedia.net/trivia on your computer or smart device and play along for free. Will you be our next winner?
DeLone is a great place to be.
This community is so much bigger than our building.
When I think of DeLone, I think of tradition, I think of pride, I think of community, I think of family.
The community at DeLone, it's small, but it's a tight-knit community.
Parents have a lot of options. There are a lot of places where students can get an education in this area, but I think the one thing that truly stands out to me about DeLone Catholic is the commitment of the faculty. The teachers here will do everything for the students.
It's not just enough for a student to leave here with a diploma. It has to be more than that.
I enjoy coming to a school that allows me to live my faith freely.
People ask us all the time, you pay taxes, why do you send your children there? It's not better than our school district. You know, the school district we're in is really great. I just say it's different. It's spirituality, it's structure, it's discipline, it's accountability.
It's more than just a school. Everyone cares about the well-being of others.
We have the leaders of tomorrow among us.
Whatever they decide to do, this place can and will prepare them for it.
I love DeLone Catholic.
I loved my time at DeLone, and I just really wanted my kids to have that as well.
I really feel like there's a place for everyone at DeLone Catholic.
Hi, I'm Marcia Wilson. I'm the chair of the Adams County Democratic Committee. And we thank Community Media for sponsoring and organizing their very first local government day, which is a way for candidates and political folks to get together and talk about their candidates and the election that's coming up. We have a very important primary in May. And that is where we choose, in Pennsylvania, our political candidates for the November election. In our Democratic side, we have some eminently qualified candidates for school boards in Gettysburg, Littlestown, Upper Adams, Conewago Valley. We also have candidates for other offices in other municipalities and townships. And of course, we're going to be working to get all of our Democrats out to vote in the primary. And that is so important. People don't realize how important that primary election is. We need to support our candidates from the very beginning, and we need to stay with them through the November election. I do encourage everyone, if you are not registered, get registered. If you want a mail-in ballot because you'd rather vote by mail than come in person, we can help with that as well. Our headquarters at 24 Chambersburg Street in Gettysburg is open each day from noon until 4, sometimes extra hours, and we have all of the voting materials readily available, and we can help you, as well as we will have candidate materials for all of our Democratic candidates through the primary and then into the November election. So, once more, remember to vote.
And welcome back to Community Media's Local Government Day. I am Dr. David Bolton. Here we're going to start off our third hour of interviews with local candidates for government office. Back in 1988, Ray Gowker had an idea to found Adams County Television, which became Community Media. And in 1989, they actually went on air for the first time. And ever since then, Ray and Community Media have been bringing you quality local programming, which is only based on things that happen here in the Hanover-Adams area. Today, we are interviewing local candidates for office, and I have the pleasure of sitting down with the Gettysburg Borough Mayor, Ms. Rita Frealing. Rita, welcome to Community Media.
Hi. Should I call you Doc?
You call me whatever you want to call me. We've known each other for quite a while.
Doc!
So, I've followed your career in Gettysburg. I know we've talked several times. A lot of the people don't know you. So why don't you tell them who you are and what you do?
My name is Rita Frealing. I am running for mayor again. I am currently mayor of Gettysburg Borough, running for re-election. I'm from Gettysburg. I grew up here. I went to local schools here. I went to St. Francis, give a shout out for St. Francis, and also Gettysburg High School. After high school, I went to Penn State University, which I'm proud to say I was a Penn State cheerleader.
I saw photos.
We were the #1 squad in the nation in 1976, and also we finally were credited with starting the chant, "We are Penn State."
Oh.
That was my squad. I'm very proud of it, and we still keep in touch. After Penn State, I was on television for a while in Harrisburg. I covered TMI, 3 Mile Island. What a time. But it taught about crisis management and what you do in a crisis and staying the course. Because it was that Saturday night. They came around civil defense and told us that if we were going to stay, we had to stay for 15 minutes to get the information out, and there was no leaving. So that was one thing that taught me you always stay your course and do what is necessary. So, yeah, that was an interesting time. So after that, I went to Dickinson Law School, and I think you know my state government experience. I worked for Governor Casey. Actually, I went back into television and then worked for Governor Casey. Department of Education, worked for a Philadelphia senator, and just enjoyed myself. So, and I bring all that experience back to being mayor, knowing that you have to get out there and get your message out, and also be a cheerleader for Gettysburg. That's one of the things the mayor does. You promote your town. Other things we do is, according to the Pennsylvania statutes, Title 8, the mayor has oversight of the police department. You can perform marriage ceremonies. You get to break a tie on borough council if there's a tie vote, and just ceremonial things to promote your town and get attention to Gettysburg. And I think I've done that quite well because I also go to national events and events in Harrisburg at the governor's mansion, and also interact with the state legislature. And I interact with our local legislatures like Representative Mao. That's all part of getting interest in Gettysburg and promoting the town.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned that you've got some experience in the emergency management area, of course, with TMI. As a mayor, you're in charge of the emergency management in your borough. You're also in charge of the police department. That's a lot of responsibility to keep people safe. The borough code says that you're in charge of the police. What challenges have you faced with that provision?
I don't think it is a challenge because Chief Flenny has 37 and a half years experience, and he and I work well together. Fact is, I think his wife got tired of me calling him at night. He said, get off the phone. But we keep in touch with each other. Fact is, I'll probably call him at some point this weekend. He knows where to get in touch with me if he needs it. We have a very good working relationship, and I like to say I think I have a good working relation with the other members of the department. They are a fine group of very well-trained people who serve and protect our town to keep it safe. I think they do an excellent job. They're dedicated. And sometimes I look at them and I think, how could you go out in the morning not knowing whether you may not come back at night? And I admire them for that. That is a critical portion of their job. And they also, by the way, when you see the police in Gettysburg, wave at them. They like that. Yes. Wave. I wave all the time. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, just to say, we know you're out there. We appreciate you. Just give them a wave.
I know growing up in Hanover Borough, the police back then used to have little trading cards that they would put out, like baseball cards. And it would have each of the officers and the lieutenants and the sergeants and everything on it. And they would come out to the playgrounds and give those out. And ever since then, that grew my appreciation for those services. And I do it. Give them a little wave. You know, ambulance drives by, give them a little wave. Let them know that, hey, you appreciate what they're doing.
Yes, I do. And also don't forget we have National Night Out in August. That come down, meet the officers and see what they do. So, I mean, it's just a way to keep open that line of communication because I think actually what happened too during the pandemic, to go back to this, the only time you saw a police officer was at that point of crisis because everybody was not interacting. So we want to start having more foot patrols to communicate with people and just say hi when it's not a crisis like a domestic assault crisis or you're getting pulled over for a ticket. Yeah, so you're not at that heightened plant. Fact is, I have to give, one of our officers went to a woman's house and her cat was on the roof. He went up and got her cat.
Oh, no.
That's kind of relationship. Yeah, that's nice.
He helped the fire department out with that one.
So anyway, why do I want to run for re-election?
Yes, why do you want to run for re-election?
Well, partially to continue my relationship with the police department, to continue working to promote Gettysburg. I'm a cheerleader for Gettysburg. I also like to think creatively, and I do. I just like interacting with people. One of the things we did to bring more revenue is, I worked with Destination Gettysburg. We started something called Love is in the Square, and it was a vow renewal service. And during the past 2 years, we had over 200 people involved. And people just love it. It's around Valentine's Day. It brings business to downtown during a time when it's not usually busy. And it's just, what's wrong with celebrating love? That's another good feeling thing.
Right. I know it's a little controversial subject, but I'm sure you can handle this one. Gettysburg always has some kind of demonstration going on, whether it be one side or the other side. Your square is the center. Like if somebody's going to present their political views, they come to your square. Tell me about the challenges. How do you ensure that they get their constitutional right to present at the same time keeping everybody safe?
Well, it depends on the size of the crowd. 30 or more, you need a permit. So, yeah. And also, it is people's constitutional right, First Amendment. You have to give them the time. So if necessary, we will have police on hand, or the police are riding around to make sure it doesn't become catastrophic or confrontational between if there's two different groups. But everybody has a right to protest, so you have to respect that. But one of the things I think, it's something that has to be done. And people say, well, Why do it in a square? The public square has long been a source, as far as I'm aware of, in American history, of where you go and protest. So you want to make sure there's walkways and people aren't in the street, because you don't want them to get hurt. And you just prepare. Once again, you prepare. And also you have to make, for people who are just downtown to go to restaurants and stuff, you want to make sure all that's going. Because I have gotten complaints from the business owners that it's disrupting their business. But the public square is still the public square. Somebody said, well, why don't you go down to the rec park? Because it's not the public square. Why not in front of the courthouse? It's not the public square.
And I know from my trips to different colonial towns, Williamsburg and such, they still show you where the stump is that somebody would stand on to give their public speech. So yes, town squares are definitely going to bring that draw. And you seem to do a very good job of keeping everybody safe doing that. So.
Yes, and that's also the borough, inside the borough, Karen Mesher with permits and the borough manager. It's a group effort. And some of our borough council members, I know President Moon, our borough council president Moon, he goes down to make sure everything's safe, like he told us. I mean, so it's a community effort.
Wonderful.
And that's one of the things I like to stress too, why I like, well, being mayor of Gettysburg. It's history.
Right.
And I think it's very sacred, especially with the 250th anniversary of our nation coming up. The Union was born in Philadelphia, but it was preserved in Gettysburg. We will have a very active park. And I like to say this, I mean when I say I was a seasonal park ranger at the National Park. Jack of all trades.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, Gettysburg's history is very important to me. And I grew up down the road on the Tawnytown Road, right from where Lincoln gave his Gettysburg address.
Oh, very cool.
Fact is, when I was a park ranger, I did a cemetery tour. It was an interpretive tour. And what I did, I took people through the cemetery and broke down pieces of Lincoln's Gettysburg address, and then went into the tour, and then moved them to another spot and did another part of the address. I love the Gettysburg Address. One of the 3 best speeches given in history.
It was. Written on a napkin.
I don't know about that.
Rita Frealing, thank you for joining us today. Good luck to you. I'm sorry, we are done. But we'd love to have you back sometime for an open house.
Absolutely.
And thank you for keeping Gettysburg safe.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Folks, Rita Frealing, Gettysburg Borough Mayor. Glad to have her. And so we're going to go to our next interview, and that is going to be Mr. Dale Brennan, and he is running for Gettysburg School Board Director. Mr. Brennan, thank you.
Afternoon, how are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us at Community Media.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. So you're you're running for school board in Gettysburg School District. What municipality do you live in?
I live in Gettysburg in Franklin Township.
Okay, very good. So if you would just tell our viewers a little bit about who you are and what you do in your personal life.
Great. Well, my name is Dale Brennan. I'm running for school board in the Gettysburg Area School District. The story starts in 1990. I graduated from the University of Maryland with a degree in secondary education. And for the next 30 years, I was a government and AP US history teacher. 15 of those years, I coached volleyball and baseball, and it seemed like my whole life has been, working with kids. I finally retired in 2020, moved up here to Gettysburg. It seemed like it was already my home anyway. I'd owned property up here since '06 and was up here on summer vacations and winter break and spring break. Something always drew me to this part of the country. And to be honest, it's 2020. I've been playing a lot of golf.
Okay.
Good
area for it.
Good area for it. But boy, there was something inside that said, you can still do more. You can still do more. Getting back into the classroom, I thought there was more than that. And the more than that to me is being on the school board in Gettysburg Area School District.
Sure. Great. So how do you feel that your personal experiences in life will translate to your service on the school board?
Well, like I said, 30 years in the classroom. So 30 years of seeing how school board decisions, good or bad, impacted students. 30 years of seeing that, when a school board has to make a tough decision and you have to cut student services, how that impacts them, how teachers, are impacted by that. I think I just bring that perspective up. I've seen it, how it affects at the very lowest level, the teachers and the students, and sometimes those are the people that are forgotten by boards of education, school boards.
So Gettysburg, of course, a few years ago, we know expanded a lot of their facilities, put a lot of money in the facilities. The Adams County Tech, of course, is going. But then it seems like the population kind of didn't hit the numbers that were projected. How do you propose that the school board would address the extra space?
The extra space?
Is there extra space? I don't.
As a former classroom teacher, I don't know what the meaning of extra space is. There's always, if there's extra space, to me, that's a place to add an extra class for kids.
Okay.
Add an extra teacher, add an extra elective, something to enrich the kids above and above where they are right now. Okay. So to me, there is no such thing as extra space. If there's extra space in a school, the school isn't doing its job right.
So we're looking to expand the curriculum, give some more offerings, and maybe enrich the children a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always for expanded curriculum. In this day and age of test, we've almost taken the fun out of education. We've almost taken the fun out of learning. So the more we can enrich their lives and enrich their education experience by adding electives, the better.
Sure. And I know I took a lot of electives when I attended Hanover High School. They got tired of me picking them up. But so I know we talked a little bit earlier with some of the supervisors and the council members, and they talked about taxes, how they attempt to rein in taxes. And as we know, I mean, my dissertation was on property tax and school boards and school choice. What is your proposal? How do you look to maybe rein in the annual increases that we sometimes see with school boards?
Great question. Great question. To me, when the tax question comes up, there's only seems to be two choices. We're either going to cut services to the students, which to me is a no-go from the start. We don't make our children pay for something they have no control over. The other is to raise taxes, which to me should be a last resort. It means you're not thinking enough. What I would propose is that you form a committee of school board members, parents, business leaders in the community members, and try to come up with alternative ways to supplement school resources and school funds. Gettysburg right now is looking about $1 million budget deficit next year. How are you going to make it up? The easy solution is raise taxes.
Or just slash your services.
Or just slash your services.
Right.
Both of which aren't acceptable. That means to me you're not doing your job. You're not thinking outside the box. It's 21st century. There has to be other ways to supplement schools besides just raising property taxes or cutting services to our kids.
I can appreciate that answer. As a fiscal conservative myself, I run 2 municipalities. I'm always looking for ways to reduce our costs so that we can provide more.
Yeah, education always seems to be the one where it's either or.
Right.
Either we cut services to students or we raise taxes. And nobody seems to be looking at that third option. There's got to be a third option. There's too many smart people out there in the community. I mean, it affects everybody in the community. The community should have a say in this.
Right. And I know workshops are very popular in our area, especially when it comes to the finances in the municipalities. Let's talk a little bit. One of the things that came up earlier was the expansion of residential progress in the area, some different housing developments that are going up, and how they create a strain on the emergency services and such. But of course, that also creates a strain for the school districts and the logistics. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I think that plays right into your last question. Because what's going to be the answer? We have to provide more services, whether it's more teachers, whether it's more counselors, whether it's expanding the buildings to provide more space. It goes back to that question, is how are you going to provide that for our young people? And again, there's got to be a third solution.
Right.
Something that the whole community is involved with. It's going to affect the whole community. They should have a say.
Right. Very good. Very good. And I guess the last topic I really want to talk about is safety. A lot of the school districts seem to be going to school resource managers or officers. They have one, and then all of a sudden there's another one, then there's another one. Can you speak to that a little bit and maybe some strategy that you're looking at to provide the safety, but then again, not create multiple six-figure positions that are going to create a strain?
Yeah, and that's the struggle every school in this country is dealing with right now. Is where's that fine line between spending the money, creating this security for the kids, but yet not giving the kids the sense that they're walking into some kind of, I don't want to use the word prison.
Right.
But the kids should be go to school and not even know that security is being provided for them. Right. We're taking away their experience. School used to be fun for kids, not the place where I still remember, I retired 5 years ago, I still remember having to do active shooter drills. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Active shooter drills, that shouldn't be in American schools. Again, that's a thing that maybe the community has to come together and decide what's most important. If school security is most important, then we need to find ways of funding it. It goes back to the tax question. What are you willing to do as a community to fund this? Because safety has to be a priority.
Any last things you would like to tell our viewers today, or how they can get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me on my website. It's DaleBrennanForSchoolBoard.org. Easy to find. I'm also on Facebook at Dale Brennan for School Board on Facebook. So come visit it.
Very good. Dale Brennan, for Gettysburg School Board Director, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you and Community Media for having me.
Thank you, sir. And we do thank Gettysburg Borough and the school district, of course, for supporting community media. We do cover a lot of their events, their government meetings, so we are thankful to partner with them in the community. Next interview we have is Miss Donna Baylis. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not me.
Oh, there she is. Okay, April.
Yes.
Say your last name for me.
It's Micah.
Micah, thank you. I would have messed it up.
I hear it all kinds
of
ways.
I would have messed it up. My apologies.
No problem.
So April Micah is running for New Oxford Borough Mayor. So tell folks about yourself, a little bit about your background.
Sure.
And what you do and who you are.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I moved to New Oxford in 2020. And I immediately got involved with the community. I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I'm currently the Secretary of the Chamber of Commerce. I also joined the Historical Society, and I'm now the Vice President of the Historical Society. So I really believe in getting involved in the community, and I'm excited about being mayor because it's largely a ceremonial position, but it gives you the opportunity to promote the community and to do good works for the town. And last year, I was the lead organizer of the 150th birthday of the borough, and that was wonderful. And it was great because I had a wonderful team that I work with the Chamber and with the Historical Society and with the Borough Council. So next year is the 250th birthday of our country, and I'm excited about what New Oxford can do for that celebration too. And I'm also co-events chair for the Chamber.
Sure. Wow. So where do you draw your experience from? What experiences in your life made you say, you know what, I want to be mayor?
Well, I've always loved New Oxford, and I started coming here when I was 10 years old, which was a long time ago, when I first got interested in antiquing. Okay. So I like the small town. I grew up outside Washington, D.C., and was tired of that whole scene. And after my husband passed away, I decided I wanted a whole new life, and my dream house, wonderful Victorian house in New Oxford, came on the market, and I just decided this was the time to move.
Well, excellent.
And I had done volunteer work before. I worked for the Literacy Council. I was a dog handler at an animal shelter in Maryland. So I've always tried to get back to the community.
So you're one of the 20%ers
yes.
that I'm talking about.
Well, I have a lot of ideas of things that I'd like to do as mayor. One thing I would like to do would be to have a welcome packet for new residents who come to the borough, who move in. Oh. They would get a personal card from me, a list of phone numbers that they need to know, coupons from local businesses. I'd also like to do a story time for little children with the mayor at the library, do like an Easter egg hunt, something like that in the springtime. And I'd like to welcome new babies to the borough. I like to crochet, and I could crochet baby blankets, and they get a personal card from the mayor. So those are some of the things I'd like to do. I'd also like to work with the churches and visit the shut-ins and combat that loneliness epidemic that people are dealing with. I'd like to have a chat with the mayor monthly. They could come to the train station and talk to me about anything that's on their mind. I think people need somebody that they can chat with and, and hear what they have to say.
Yeah, I can tell you as manager of Abbottstown, one of the things that we like to do is when we get the notice from tax services that a property is transferred.
Right.
That's our first, hey, somebody's new's moving in.
Right.
So we always use that information and send them a letter,
yes.
Introducing them to the website.
Right.
I think your welcome pack idea is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Very
well,
good.
I think, people want to feel, that we care about them, that the town cares about them, we're happy you're here, and that it's a good community.
And it's always easier to get people more involved when they're first in.
Right.
Before they get built up of all the
Sure.
past problems.
Right,
and, 20 years ago, we had this issue.
Right,
And
you want
it's
to move forward.
It's like, okay, well, we're moving forward from
Right.
that. So,
Right.
great. What do you think the future holds for New Oxford? Like, I know that a lot of our services have combined. Of course, our police services, our fire. Of course, we share United Hook and Ladder together. What do you see as the future that progression with those services?
Well, I think the community is growing, and we're getting more new businesses in town. Properties are being renovated, and the surrounding areas around New Oxford are growing. A lot of new subdivisions are coming in, and the school's going to be expanding. So it's a growing, dynamic community, and I think that's going to continue.
Right. We heard the school's looking at maybe some expansion.
Right.
What is your perception of municipal tax and school tax? Because of course here, we do them separately.
Right.
And you hear the school tax is always going up.
Right.
How would you use your office to foster cooperation to maybe help towards keeping that low? I know you can't keep it low as a mayor.
Right.
But what would you do to foster that?
Well, I think it's good that those agencies are transparent and where the money's going from. I think that's the main thing, to really let people know where their tax dollars are going and how they can improve the community.
Sure. We know a lot of utility companies are coming through. The bane of our existence as a small community is a utility company coming in, putting in new laterals, and then when's the roads going to get done, right? So I know we're in a situation as you are. We're looking at some restoration this year. They're probably coming over to you after us.
Right.
Do you get any feedback from people in the community about that? That know that you're running? Do they talk to you about maybe some of
about roads,
like the road conditions?
Yeah, well, one real concern we have in New Oxford is the traffic, and we would like to have the speed limits lowered going into the circle. And our circle is unique because it's a park, and people come into it and are supposed to enjoy it. And people are fearful of crossing the street with the traffic. So I would like to try and see what I can do to get the speed limit lowered. And we also need some crosswalks on the outer edges of the borough. That would be, to keep our residents safe and our visitors too. I mean, we want people to be able to enjoy our town safely.
I know my family and I come up to the New Oxford events every year.
Okay, come to Market Day.
We like to walk around, and
good.
Over the years we've either been with a political group or where we've come up ourselves.
Right.
There's always something to see.
Yes.
There's always something to do, and the churches always have
Sure.
Different things that you can come and find a treasure.
Right.
As the mayor, what would you look to do to involve yourself into those events as well?
Oh, well, I've always worked with Market Day. I've helped set up the vendors in the morning. And then for Harvest Day, I have two fabulous Corvettes, and I've been driving either the Grand Marshal or whoever's a VIP in the parade in my Corvettes. And if I was mayor, I would like to have maybe a drawing so that a young person could ride in one of my cars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've been very involved in all the town events, and I would continue to do that.
Very cool.
Yeah, and still, light up New Oxford also. So I'm going to be an active mayor. You're going to see me everywhere. And I would like to come to events that citizens have and see what you're doing for the community, and celebrate you and celebrate the town.
Very good. Any last thoughts that you want to leave or let people know how to get in touch with you?
I don't think so. I'm running for the mayor of the borough of New Oxford, and I would love to have the job, and I'd love to have your vote.
Very good.
Yep. I would be honored to represent you.
Donna Baylis.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much for
Take
joining
care.
us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was April. My bad. Oh, I really muffed that. My bad. That was April Micah for New Oxford Borough Manager or Mayor, and want to thank her. We now have Donna Baylis, and she is running for Littlestown School Board Director. So.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining us. I know you've been very patient today.
Thanks for having us.
You were one of the first people here today.
It's all right.
And so hopefully you got to meet some folks. And,
yeah, it was very nice.
And talk to them. So now it's your turn.
Okay.
Let people know here who you are and what you do in life.
Well, I'm running for school board for Littlestown. So my name is Donna Baylis. I have a lot of experience in school board. I have 10 years experience for previous school boards, and I have a lot of ideas, and I know a lot of good past practices that I can bring to Littlestown.
Very good. Mm-hmm. So I've got just some basic questions.
Sure.
Some of the supervisors, when they were out, talked about some of the things that affect them.
Okay.
So school boards, of course, we know school boards are, notorious for being the most taxes in the area. What would you look to do to control the increases each year for the taxes?
Basically follow the budget. I mean, it's really not that difficult.
Right.
If you have a budget, you have to follow your budget. That's what we expect from our citizens.
Right.
When you go off of your budget, life gets challenging,
So is that an issue currently at your school board where?
I think that it's just interesting that they've raised taxes every year for the last 6 years. And every year for the last 6 years, they've always had a surplus.
Right.
So my personal question would be, why do you need to raise taxes if you have a surplus every year?
Right.
I don't understand that.
It's a good question.
So, but we'll find out when I get in there.
Right. Very good.
Yeah.
Residential properties. Of course, you hear a lot how residential developments put a strain on local services for the municipalities. And with the school boards, of course, that creates more students, more logistical issues. How do you propose to go forward and address some of those issues, maybe? Some ideas you might have.
Well, I'm not sure exactly how new construction's handled right now, but my past experience is usually when construction comes in, a new development comes into a town, municipality, they're required by law to donate or designate a certain amount of that land for that development, specifically for schools.
Right.
I don't know if that happens up here, but I think it's worked very well in the past. And you have to prepare for enrollment, but in regards to enrollment for Littlestown, enrollment's dropped every year for the last 5 years.
Right.
But yet we just added a huge addition to the high school. I understand we wanted to move the middle school into the high school, which is fine. But we built that addition with more seats than we really needed to. So if you read the feasibility study was done for 300 more seats than we actually needed. And since then, we've lost students. We've lost enrollment since then. So you kind of have to be a little more on your game. And you have to really know what's going on, be able to judge, plan for the future both ways, whether your enrollment increases or decreases. And, I'll be the first one to go and rally to support the schools for public education. I've been public education all my life. And I'm very, very much a supporter for special education.
Okay.
But, you got to stay within your budget. And just because you have taxing authority doesn't mean that allows you to just tax. Look, you can't stay within your budget. Well, we have taxing authority, so let's just raise taxes.
Right.
And then on top of that, let's take the seniors' homestead tax credit back.
Oh, yeah.
That's not cool.
Right.
That is not cool.
Right.
So that's just a little bit of how, I'll focus on the budget and we've been doing a lot of improvements apparently to athletics. They're very heavy into athletics, which is great. But if your academic scores are plummeting, your proficiency is below 50%. I'm sorry, but that's a red flag on the play.
Right.
Our first job and main job should be to educate these students. Sports is great, and it can get them some great scholarships for college, which is wonderful. But you got to get them to college first, okay? And that means they have to have more than 50% proficiency,
right.
And we're below 50% proficiency right now.
Right. And
that's a life skill. Reading and math is a life skill.
Right.
Okay? I'd like to see the answers to that, but...
What are your thoughts on the Adams County Tech? Is Littlestown...
We do partake in that.
You are a participant in that?
Yeah, I'm very supportive for that.
Okay.
Yeah, tech ed is wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, college is for a lot of kids go to college, but it's not for every student.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, a lot of kids actually do better with tech ed.
Right.
And they learn a skill that will carry them through their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but it's just general good information to know. When they become a homeowner, they're able to fix their own electrical problems or plumbing problems or what have you. And it will give them a good business for the future if they choose the skill that they want. So yeah, I'm totally supportive of that. I have experience with that. Future Farmers of America program, experience with that. I've hired 3 different superintendents. I've been involved in 3 national superintendent searches. I've gone to 3 national school board conferences. 10 years experience as a board member, 2 years vice president as a board member. Also, let's see, the last budget I worked on was a little over $500 million budget. We had over 40,000 students in our school system with over 7,000 employees. We had 3 unions, 1 teachers union, 1 support union, and 1 administrative staff union. And I'm really good with people. I'm really good working with people, a variety of people, because I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to stay focused really on common sense, what's good for the children,
right.
And what's going to benefit them in their education and their future. Because if we give them a sound foundation right now, then they're going to have a great future, and they'll be able to succeed in college, and if they don't go to college, they'll be able to succeed in life very well.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good. So, how do folks get in touch with you?
I'm handing out flyers. I have an email address.
Okay.
It's djbc299@gmail.com.
Okay.
And they're welcome to reach me there. I'll soon have a Facebook page set up. I have one now. It's a personal Facebook page, but on my name. They can just look up my name and find me there too as well.
Send your friend request.
There you go. Send me a
right.
friend request. Absolutely.
All right. Donna Baylis, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
been a
having
pleasure.
me. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Littlestown School Board Director, folks. Reach out to her.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. So a colleague running for Littlestown School Board Director is Jeannie Ewan.
Yes. Hello.
Hi. Welcome. Community Media.
Thank you.
So, Littlestown School Board. Wow. School boards are quite a contentious topic nowadays.
It really is.
Who are you? What do you do, and why do you want to do that?
Okay. Well, I was on the school board in Littlestown from December 2019 to 2023. I was a CPA, and then I became a stay-at-home mom. And my son was in the 6th grade, and Common Core had happened, and everything was really different. And I just thought, I'm running for school board. So one of the big things I said is local government determines your everyday life. It's very important. So I thank community media for doing this and for bringing the news for the local communities, because I don't think people realize that it determines a lot about your life. You can't even have chickens in your backyard, some people, because of local government. So, and then I did my 4 years, and I thought that everything was set with the last election. Somebody quit, and I just came back, and I thought I'd run for the 2-year.
Oh, okay. So you're running for a 2-year position.
Right.
Okay.
To finish up the one that I came back for.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Very good. Very good. So what skills in your regular life have you brought forward that you've been able to apply to
Well, as a CPA and the one that does the budget at home, I've helped with the finance committee this time and the budgeting. And like before I did policies, I was on the curriculum committee the last time I was on the board. So I've got everything already with the board.
Oh, excellent, excellent. A couple of the standard questions we've been asking for school boards, taxes, of course. Every year, schools need more, need more. I did my dissertation on school taxes.
Right.
What do you see is something that maybe you can provide that's unique to that problem that might help stave off some increases?
Okay. Well, when I was on the board the first 4 years, I never voted to raise taxes because even though we budgeted with a deficit, we always ended up with a very large, like 700,000 plus surplus. Okay. And then this year we had a $3.7 million surplus that we used to take care of things in the district that they would said, if we don't do it now, we'll have to raise taxes to do it. So we agreed to it. So I've never voted to raise taxes because I think the money's there. And we've got new homes being built at Mayberry, and that's going to bring in revenue every year as it's being built. So we got land that we've sold. We've got a middle school that we're going to be selling once we move them out of there, because we're in the middle of a building project where we're combining the middle school and high school. So we're going to save costs there in the long run, and we're going to have a building to sell. So I don't see raising taxes right now.
Okay, well, that's good news. I think you're one of the first people today that said I ain't raising.
Well, I'm on the finance committee, and we've had to go through this budget, and that's what we recommended, a 0% tax increase. So when we do the May meetings, we'll see what the rest of the board has to say.
Very good, very good. Residential properties. You got a lot of developments that come in. You mentioned the development coming in. It provides a strain to local services, but also to the schools, to the resources you have,
right,
and to the logistics of getting the kids back and forth. How do you look to promote a solution for that?
Okay. Well, we've had Stoner Farm, and now we have Mayberry. Both are retirement communities, so we are kind of heading towards more of a retirement town. Right. Our enrollment has kind of been the same throughout. A little up and down a little bit, so we don't really know how it's going to look several years down the road, but right now we're basically building retirement communities, which is bringing us revenue,
which is bringing in revenue but no kids.
Yeah.
So that does help.
Yeah.
I know that that is a strategy in some municipalities,
right,
to only
I don't know if they did it on purpose. Maybe they did, I don't know.
So I don't know in Littlestown, but
yeah,
but I know some places they do, they
right,
look for that.
Right.
So safety in our schools, obviously. This past week we had a couple active shooters
right,
in the country. A lot of resources are going towards having officers in the schools. I'm not sure.
We have a safety officer,
okay,
and a second one potentially. It's not. We kind of talked about it, then it kind of went away. So we just want to combine the middle school and high school first before we make like big decisions on what positions we need. So we've got you got to show your ID when you come in. You got to buzz to get in. So we've got that on all the doors, and so we think we're safe.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we won't do things down the road.
No, it sounds like you're set up and have a plan.
Yeah.
Ready to go forward. Very good. Any other topics you want to touch base on, or anything that's, a passion for you?
Well, the big issue right now is ACTI.
Yes.
And everyone on the board is for ACTI. We have 7 programs right now. We have $180,000 going into savings for whatever the future building is. We're just waiting to hear more, get more information. but we are saving money. We are for expanding the program, and that's all I want to say.
Now, both of our children went to ACTI.
Yeah.
One goes currently, and one graduated from there, and now he's at college for tech. So
Right.
it was definitely
Right.
a good springboard for
Right.
him.
And there's a lot of kids that aren't for college or the military, and it's a great thing for them. And we are for expanding it. It's just, we need more information right now, because what programs are you going to add, and a lot of stuff. So
I know they got
we
some
are
nursing,
saving.
some food service. I mean,
We have culinary,
things
we have
that are
allied health.
specific to-
Yeah, we have a culinary, we have allied health, we have criminal justice, we have cybersecurity, we have diesel engine, we have building program. All of that is big. So we have good ones now, but we do want to expand.
Excellent. How do people get in touch with you?
Well, I might do a Facebook page, but come to the school board meetings. Come to the Littlestown area school board meetings. See a school board, find out what we're doing, listen to what we have to say. We'd love to meet you there. And or you could contact me at the Littlestown School Board email. But I did a Facebook page the first time around, Jeannie C. Ewan for school board director, LSD school board, and I might do that again. But
okay.
I don't really have a contact. Sorry.
No worries. Folks, Jeannie Ewan, for Littlestown School Board Director. We thank you.
And if
for
you
your
don't
time.
mind, can I have, since we have 45 seconds?
Yeah,
or whatever,
please. Yep.
Really, thank you again, community media. Your local government determines your everyday life. It is very important to know your candidates, so this is very helpful. It's very important to know what they stand for, what the issues are, and get out and vote on May 20th. It's very important. So I really appreciate community media.
2 elections every year, folks. I've said
Yes.
it too many times. Make sure you show up.
Yes. And it's an off year. Most people come when it's a presidential election. So it's just very important to vote for your local,
Maybe more
local
so.
positions. It is.
Maybe more
It is.
so.
So thank you again for what you do. I
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
appreciate it. Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks, so we are going to continue on, going into our 4th hour of interviews. Is it Steve or is it Rachel? Hi.
Sorry.
So we're going to bring on...
and planned and fiscally responsible so that everybody knows what's going to cost.
Right. Now, I know in my involvement with certain committees years ago with the county, the Adams Economic Alliance had said, just to your point, that there was a problem with retention of post-college aged workers because a lot of them would grow up in the area, go away to college, and then go somewhere else to establish their family and their career. That seems to be an exodus right now that I don't think has stopped.
One of the things that we need to bring forth in our planning and giving the vision is that we need the community, meaning businesses, people that want to have the welders, the diesel mechanics, the drywallers, the electricians, the floor guys, all aspects, what that type of program would be able to help students get. Not everybody's going to go to college. So there's a whole resource that if they can understand and know, then the whole community will probably get behind and say, we really want to be able to support this. So it's a community effort, it's a district effort, it's also businesses and that have the resources that could possibly donate to be able to see this whole thing come together where it could really, really benefit the community, because it'll come back in the long run.
Right. And of course, the municipality is more focused on the economic outlook of the community, of course, properly zoning so that they can put businesses in, things like that. What would be your recommendation to the community to create those situations that would help the school?
Well, when you're looking at that, you've got your local townships, you've got your different codes and things that are allowed. So it comes back to basic involvement at the local level. So if you want to see change at your township level, or if you want to see change at your borough level, or you want to change at your county level, that there might be conflicts because of zoning, might be outdated, might need to be changed, then public participation in the effort through the elections to be able to put the people in to be able to get what you need to get done.
Right. And of course, Littlestown School District isn't just Littlestown Borough. it's the surrounding townships.
Yes, that's
and,
correct.
and communities as well. So that coordination would be essential.
I would also just bring up the issue of the Farmstead Act.
Yes.
Very important to be able to let people know, fill out the form. It's not through the district this is done. It's done through the county level. Let everybody, because there's basically money laying on the ground, pick it up.
Right.
Through just an application. If you qualify, there's certain standards that you have to qualify for, but it's there to offset any possible increases, because that's what 70% of the houses that qualified at $280,000 as a price of a home, the tax increase for the 180,000, 1%, 70% of the homes qualified for the Homestead Act, so it zeroed it out.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say there.
That's some of the, get informed, come to the meetings, listen, participate, go to your township meetings, go to your school board meetings, really try to get involved, because, people are going to be making decisions for you unless your voice is heard.
Exactly. Couple seconds left. How do folks get in touch with you?
Yerger 4, the number 4, LASD@gmail.com.
All right. Well, we greatly appreciate you coming out today and for your support of our event. And we wish you good luck in your election.
Thank you very much.
Stephen Yerger, and that is Littlestown School Board Director.
Thank you.
We wish you luck, sir. Folks, I want to real quick talk to you about our limited spots for a banner program here at Community Media. You can get your business logo on our website. We'll push it out to social media, and you can also get a nonprofit event sponsored through your participation in our banner program. Spots are limited. So if you are a local business and you want to get involved in our banner program, please let us know. And of course, you can support Community Media by becoming a Patreon member, just $5, $10, or $25 a month. And you can say you own part of the only free TV station in Adams County. We have now Mr. Mike Donnelly. And Mr. Mike Donnelly is running for York Springs Borough Council.
Yes.
Thank you. I know we got to speak a little bit earlier today. So we had your mayor on earlier, Nina Tipler, and she mentioned you. But for the folks at home, why don't you let them know who you are and what you do in life?
Okay. Michael Donnelly on the ballot, go by Mike as well. And I retired in January 1st, 2023 from working for the Navy up in Mechanicsburg. Before that, I did that for 15 years. Then I worked private industry. Before that, I was in the Navy, retired Navy chief. So that's a bit of my background. And I have a small business. Can I mention it here?
Yeah, absolutely.
GreatRetriever.com. I get small data. I get data off of small devices such as thumb drives, cell phones, and the like. So it's GreatRetriever.com if you're so interested.
So if I have a computer that laptop screen went out,
no,
I can't get into it.
I'm only doing small devices, not hard drives. Because so be your thumb drive, your cell phone, your SD drive, your camera, your wildlife camera. You can't get your pictures off of that. That kind of stuff.
So my phone's broken. I'm getting ready to trade it in,
Right.
but I want my stuff off of it.
Yes, that's exactly why I started the business.
How many phones I have sitting at home that I never turned in because I couldn't get the information off.
So I was doing it for free for a bunch of people. I said, well, why not put my name out there and see if I can help folks out and get paid for it at the same time.
Oh, I'll be giving you a call.
All
I
right,
know that.
sounds good. All right.
So tell me, why are you interested in running for council?
Because I care about York Springs. I just do. I've been involved off and on in politics, if you will, since the 8th grade. What I mean by that is I lived in San Diego at the time, and I would get on the bus in Pacific Beach and go down and get out the vote for the Nixon campaign. And that was kind of fun. So it's in my blood, if you will. And then, of course, being in the Navy, I had a Hatch Act, so I couldn't really do anything. After I retired from the Navy, I ended up in Powhatan, Virginia, and I became the vice chairman of the Powhatan County Republican Committee. And that was a lot of fun because I got to meet First, I got to see how the process works. I got to go to the state convention and see how the conventions work. So now when I watch TV, I can see how, I know what's going on. And I got to meet governors and just cool, a cool environment to see how things work, right? So, and there was other things you have to do, of course, to get out the vote. How does get out the vote work? I learned that. And putting up signs and name recognition helps. So all those little things that you see on TV or you'll hear on the radio, well, I got to see behind the scenes. That was a wonderful experience. And then I moved up here to work for the Navy. Hatch Act kicked in again. So I got really involved in the McCain campaign and ran the Victory Center 3 nights a week in Carlisle. And then I, because of that, I met some folks, ended up helping the Republican committee set up their network. I do computers too. I set the network up for the committee, and I met Vic Stabile and all those folks. And then helped Dave Buell. Dave Buell was the prothonotary for Cumberland County. And we would be like the audiovisual guys on election night, showing the election results on the big screen for the people in the room. And that was fun. And I think you've heard a theme of all this is a lot of fun, and I care about my community. And I think one of my biggest strengths is at work I would say collaboration works, because I was a manager, a boss. I've got a master's degree and whatever, that stuff doesn't really matter here, I don't think. It's more about collaboration works, and I could say that all the time, and it does work. I have a paper that I'm writing, and I don't care what position you're in, would you please review this paper for me? Because I can make a mistake, and or good ideas come from everywhere. I don't care what level of the organization you're in, you have a good idea, and it's true. So to put a capstone on your question, I care about York Springs, and I think I bring to the table a lot of experience that boils down to collaboration works. And there you go.
So you said you worked for the Nixon campaign. I'm going to guess it was the second one.
It was. Yes, I was.
You look a little young to be around during
the
Kennedy.
Second one. Yep, I was in 8th grade and did the second one.
Very good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good.
I learned all about unsweetened iced tea, instant iced tea. There was instant iced tea in Nescafe, I think it was, maybe something like that. Anyway, I was wired by the time I got home. It was fun.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about York Springs a little bit. We know from the mayor how tight-knit community it is. We know some of the challenges that they bring, some of the resources that you have with the fire company, of course. From your perspective, what do you see that's a shining example, and what do you see that you'd like to address in the future?
Okay. First, it's a nice, quiet community, and I like that. And I'm on the Municipal Authority as well. I got invited onto that, and I've been with the Municipal Authority about 1.5 years. And I think that the folks there care about our water and sewer, and we make sure our rates don't go up as much as possible, and we take care of the infrastructure. So to me, because I'm right in it, that is a shining example, one of the most basic services, water and your sewer. So, and it is a small town, only about 700 people. So I think the census had 683 or 685 in the year 2020. So it's very small. And so, yeah, I would say our delivering good water and making sure your toilets work and everything works is important. And that's an example. Of course, our fire company is great too, but that's the fire, and they're fantastic. And I've been thinking about this question a lot, because I don't see anything bad going on in York Springs. Right. But if I could change one thing, I would like to find a way at minimal cost, because I am very conservative when it comes to other people's money. I'm very sensitive to that. Is a better way to communicate some of the things that are going on. Yeah, there's Facebook. Not everybody uses Facebook. We did adopt recently Savvy Citizen. We're going to test that. And I volunteered on the water board, water sewer board, municipal authority, to be the manager of that. So if we have an emergency, a water main break or something, I have no problem of me posting it. Right. And we want to have criteria set up so we don't put out, there's a dog loose. No, we want to make sure we don't bother people. Right. It's got to have the right level of concern for the community before we post it. Sure. So I think maybe another way to communicate with our, cost-effective way to communicate with our population is something I'd like to put in my list of things to do.
Not an advertisement here or an endorsement, but both of my boroughs currently use Savvy Citizen.
Okay.
We had other sources before. Savvy seemed to be a lot less expensive.
Yes.
And a lot more applicable.
Okay,
to
good.
what we were looking for.
I think
So
it's 50 cents a person.
yeah,
per
it's
borough.
not much at all. It's
Yes.
very inexpensive.
Yes.
It was half of the other programs we were using.
Okay.
So
Good.
very
Thanks.
good.
Thanks.
Last couple of seconds here. How do folks get in touch with you?
m.donnelly@yahoo.com. Pretty straightforward. Don't forget the dot, otherwise you'll get Marissa in Florida.
Marissa is not running for York Springs Council, folks.
Yeah, m.donnelly, Donnelly.
All right.
And,
All right. Michael Donnelly, York Springs Borough Council candidate. We thank you for coming out today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you having down this end of the county.
Yeah, thanks.
Call if you need us.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care.
sir.
Adios.
So, folks, it looks like we have come to the end of our program. We have interviewed all the folks that have shown up for us today, and we want to thank you for joining us. We will re-air, and of course, all of our interviewers today will receive snippets of their interviews so that they can use those digitally, and they all received headshots, professional headshots, so that they can go out and use those in their campaigns. We heard a lot today, folks. We've heard from many different positions. We've heard many different aspects, but one thing that tied them all together is that they are all concerns of local government, and that is within our county borders, within our municipal borders. And what I want you to take away from this is there is a lot to deal with in municipal government. And even if these people don't win, I want you to reach out to them and thank them for being there. I want you to join them if they do win and volunteer for positions. And hopefully we will see another round of candidates in a couple years here at Community Media to present them to you. And we thank you very much for joining us today. Again, call to action. Become a member of Community Media. Go to our website, communitymedia.net, and become a member. $5 a month, folks. It's all it takes. And you can keep absolutely 100% free TV right here in Adams County. As Ray Gowker, our president, said, this is not ABC, and thank God it's not, because ABC doesn't carry what we carry, and that is everything about you and your community. So on behalf of Ray and Mark Worley, our station manager, and our crew today who took their Easter Saturday to bring you this information, we thank them and we thank you, and hopefully you'll join us for our next demonstration here, where we bring you the information about your local government and about who you are and what you do here in the community. Thanks so much. Dr. David Bolton signing off.
And don't miss Local Government Day this Saturday, April 19th, right here at Community Media. We're showcasing local groups including the Adams County Boroughs Association, township officials, the Council of Governments, and both the Adams County Democratic and Republican committees. It's a great opportunity to meet local candidates and organization leaders. Join us at 124 North Peter Street in New Oxford starting at noon. For more details, you can visit communitymedia.net. Want to advertise your event for free? Send us your event info and a photo, and we'll add them to our digital calendar and bulletin board featured right here on our channel and website. Your event might even be highlighted right here on What's Happening. Just email us at info@communitymedia.net. And finally, a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, Utz, Pizza Garden Italian Restaurant, and all of our wonderful Patreon members. Do you want to support Community Media? You can learn more about becoming a sponsor or Patreon member by visiting communitymedia.net. And as always, for more local events, stay connected to Community Media.
wanna stay somewhere far away. I'm saying goodbye to the place that I call home. The air is dry, the mountains high, the land is bare, and all I wanna do is hide. Back at home, the land is green, a little old town, some friends and family are all I need. But now I gotta leave everything I love behind. So I give a sigh to that empty sky. Empty sky. Empty sky. Empty sky. 1 minute you're whole, grounded, safe. The next minute uprooted, thrown out of your space. Wasted, the life of grace flung back at your face. Earth and sky seem all too real, too much to hold, too small to feel. Feel. People say I like this place. People say I wanna stay. They say the land is a beauty, the air is clear, everyone's friendly, but I don't.
Hey there, do you love what we do here at Community Media? Want to be a part of keeping local stories alive and helping our station grow? Now you can by joining our Patreon community. For as little as $5 a month, you can support local media and get exclusive perks. We have 3 membership tiers, $5, $10, and $25, each with its own set of benefits just for you. Regardless of which tier you choose, you will be added to our credits shown after each program we air as a thank you for your support. At $5, you're in the Attaboy tier, helping us continue our work while getting behind the scenes updates. At $10, you're in the contributing producer tier with even more perks like bonus content and sneak peeks. And at $25, you're in the executive producer tier with VIP access, shout outs, and even more ways to connect with us. Your support not only helps us create quality content, but it also gives you a direct line to engage with our team. Whether it's exclusive content, behind the scenes access, or just knowing you're making a difference, you're part of the Community Media family. So what are you waiting for? Join us today and be part of something bigger. Visit patreon.com/communitymedia and help us keep the stories going and continue to make South Central PA a safe, vibrant, and thriving community. Thank you.
I still gotta leave everything behind. Oh, I still gotta leave everything I love behind. So I give a sigh to that empty sky. Empty sky. Empty sky. Empty sky. So I give a sigh to that empty sky. Trying to walk, trying to run, trying to find my way to home. Trying to stop, trying to think, trying to make sense of the world. Trying to turning around, trying to walk back where I came. Trying to see, trying to believe that my mind can set me free. Oh, trying to find, trying to want, trying to love the life I know. Trying to find, trying to want, and love the life I know. In that empty sky, to that empty sky. I remember days in South Carolina, toiling in the dirt, sweating in the hot sunny shine. What happened to the days when we worked with our kin? When we looked beyond the old cotton gin, kicking the can, cursing the sand, singing the song of a wretched old man. There ain't no rest for the weary soul. I gotta keep on working with my heavy load. Ain't got no money, ain't got no toll. Now listen up, y'all, because I won't say more. There ain't no rest for the weary soul, yeah. Sometimes I got.
Hi, I'm Laura with Community Media, and here's what's happening. Join the Gettysburg Foundation and the Seminary Ridge Museum on the evening of April 18th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. as Adams County kicks off its year-long celebration of America's 250th birthday. Experience a special evening commemorating this historic milestone with a reading of Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow and discover Gettysburg's unique connections to the events of April 18, 1775. You'll witness 2 lanterns ceremoniously placed in the historic seminary cupola, symbolizing the lights hung in Boston's Old North Church. There'll be hands-on activities for kids, including paper lanterns and luminary crafts. This event is part of 2 Lights for Tomorrow, a nationwide initiative inspired by Revere's famous Midnight Ride. It's a call for communities across the country to display 2 lights, a symbol of unity and our shared effort to build a better tomorrow. To learn more, you can visit seminaryridgemuseum.org. Hop on over to Hollabaugh Brothers for their annual Hop Along the Bunny Trail event. Enjoy an egg hunt in the orchard, photos with the Easter Bunny, their whimsical fairy tale trail, wagon rides, lawn games, and even free ice cream for kids. Your registration includes 1 free adult wagon ride per registered child. Extra tickets are available for purchase. And don't forget to come hungry. Bricker's famous French fries will be there serving up tasty eats. For full event details, visit hollabawbros.com. The Eisenhower National Historical Site invites you to their 2nd annual Easter egg roll on April 19th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Families can decorate wooden eggs, enjoy outdoor games, and participate in traditional Easter egg roll on the lawn of the Eisenhower home. You'll also learn about the Eisenhower family's White House Easter traditions, and the home will be open for tours throughout the day. This event is free and open to the public with on-site parking. In case of rain, it'll be rescheduled for Monday, April 21st at the same time. Visit nps.gov/EISE for more details. And don't miss Local Government Day this Saturday, April 19th, right here at Community Media. We're showcasing local groups including the Adams County Boroughs Association, township officials, the Council of Governments, and both the Adams County Democratic and Republican committees. It's a great opportunity to meet local candidates and organization leaders. Join us at 124 North Peter Street in New Oxford starting at noon. For more details, you can visit communitymedia.net. Want to advertise your event for free? Send us your event info and a photo, and we'll add them to our digital calendar and bulletin board featured right here on our channel and website. Your event might even be highlighted right here on What's Happening. Just email us at info@communitymedia.net. And finally, a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, Utz, Pizza Garden Italian Restaurant, and all of our wonderful Patreon members. Do you want to support community media? You can learn more about becoming a sponsor or Patreon member by visiting communitymedia.net. And as always, for more local events, stay connected to Community Media.
Real hard when your pockets were empty and you wanted more than corn and lard, when you ain't had a house and you slept in the shed and you couldn't run away with a gun at your head. So you prayed to the Lord that he'll shine a divine supernatural sign that you'll find in your heart and in your mind, because there ain't no rest for the weary soul. I gotta keep on working with my heavy load. Ain't got no money, ain't got no toll. Now listen up, y'all, because I won't say more, except there ain't no rest for the weary soul. I gotta keep on working with my heavy load. Ain't got no money, ain't got no toll. Now listen up, y'all, because I won't say more. There ain't no rest for the weary soul, yeah, yeah, yeah. How do you think? How do you love? How do you serve when pushed and shoved? 'Cause it's hard to know when the heart is cold and darkness surges strong and bold. There ain't no rest for the weary soul. I gotta keep on working with my heavy load. Ain't got no money, ain't got no toll. Now listen up, y'all, because I won't say more, except there ain't no rest. I gotta keep on working with my heavy load. Ain't got no money, ain't got no toll. Now listen up, y'all, because I won't sing more. There ain't no rest for the weary soul, yeah. matches, vibrant hearts, we still long for me. 'Cause you're still my love, 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 love. What is our love, 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 love? Have I your love, 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 love? When our vows were new and our love was sweet, we trusted in God, we prayed that wisdom and faith would guide the way. But the clouds drew in and hardships sprung up like thorns, choking out the joy and rest we had. We had strive and pray, for God can see this through. Let's take the fragments of our vows. Our love can be renewed. 'Cause you're still my love, 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 love. What is our love, 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 love? Have I your love, 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 love? Here is my love, 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 love. Give me your love, 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 love. 'Cause I'm still in running outside on a rainy day, cold drops on my tongue. Memories come flooding back to when I was so young. A fiery child, a witty smile, a girl with sunburned cheeks, the one who always wandered off, the one you couldn't teach. So don't forget your memories you made when you were young, the ones that always get away as you are growing up.
Hey there, do you love what we do here at Community Media? Want to be a part of keeping local stories alive and helping our station grow? Now you can by joining our Patreon community. For as little as $5 a month, you can support local media and get exclusive perks. We have 3 membership tiers, $5, $10,